Good morning, ladies. Can we please be seated? Good morning and welcome to day 3 of Global Africa Women's Sustainability Conference. Thank you very much. Our acting host and co-host, thank you. Please assume your seats. I'm excited to be back. Are you all excited to be here? Are you sure? That energy sounds not like it. Are you excited to be here? Good morning, beautiful women. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please turn to the woman next to you and just give a high five.
You are looking
Thank
high five now.
you. Fantastic. Well done. Thank you, everybody. Today's going to be impactful. Today's going to be beautiful as always. But the most beautiful thing is today is going to be quick. We're not going to stay here till 6 p.m. But we have a... Thank you. But it's going to be impactful as always. I mean, we've learned a whole lot in the couple of days that we've been here, and today is nothing far from it. But we will start with the masterclass. Please take your seats. Beautiful women over there, please come join us so we can kick off today's program. And I will now allow your teacher or facilitator to take you on this masterclass. Please put your hands together for him.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good to be in your midst today again. How are we? I'm so sorry we are starting so late, but we are going to travel very, very fast. We have to learn. So today we are continuing with our tips on how to get funding for our green business. So today, please, next slide. All right, so I'll be giving us tips on how to get funding for our businesses. Next slide. So, at this point, I'm assuming we have secured an investor. Now, you want to get into the heart of the investor. You want to creep into the heart of the investor and stay there. So, we want to learn the tricks on how to travel fast into the heart of the investor. And we are going to be learning how to do a pitch deck. So, next slide. So, what is a pitch deck? I'll just tell you the idea of a pitch deck. A pitch deck is a concise, carefully crafted visual presentation, all right, that conceives all your business ideas, all about your business, why you are in that business, why you actually came into the business in the first instance, and why you need assistance from your investor. So reading from my prepared slide, it is described there as your opportunity. A pitch deck is your opportunity to introduce yourself, introduce your business to your potential investors. So it's a visual presentation that outlines your business model, your strategy, your team, and your financial forecasts. All about your business, 360. Complete from ideation to money making to your financials, down to everything you can think about in business. Next slide. Next slide, please. So we are looking at the elements, I call it ingredients of a winning pitch deck. We are not just designing a pitch deck. We are doing a pitch deck that will win the hearts of our potential investor so that they will pick interest in funding our business. So when you talk about pitch deck, there are some areas which you must touch. Okay? Now, the first of the key ingredients of a winning pitch deck is called introduction. I'll just run over them, then I'll explain them briefly, one after the other. So after introduction, you have your business idea. Then you go to industry overview, business model and market analysis. You go to your financials, and you close. So you are opening with introduction. Introduction describes all about your idea. You talk about your team, why you are in that business at all. Okay? Why did you come into the business in the first instance? So you describe it. You talk about your team. You describe their roles. Any experience that is relevant to that industry that they have. Show why your team is uniquely qualified to execute your business plan. You are not going to be highlighting your temporary staffs, unskilled staff. They have to be your key members of the team. Okay? Now, you have to describe a brief overview of the relevant experiences and achievements. Remember I said you are starting from your ideation. What brought the idea? Why do you feel the idea will work? Please, on to the next. Then, we come to your business idea. You have to define your product or service. Okay? You state the problem it solves. Highlight what makes it unique. On this particular slide, you are talking about two things at the same time. You are talking about the reason, and you are talking about problems and solutions at the same time. Remember, as an entrepreneur, you are in business to solve a problem. Without a problem to be solved, you have no essence to do anything. I said yesterday that for every action, there must be a what? A reaction. So for every problem, there must be a solution. And that is why you are coming into that business. So your business idea has to include your product and service, the problem it will solve, all right? And you have to highlight why it is unique to other products. Because it's assumed you are not in business in isolation. You are working alongside your competitors. So what makes you unique? We look at a sample of a business idea. I read with you: revolutionizing rural healthcare, mobile app, quick, easy, and affordable. Affordable healthcare at your fingertips. The target market focusing on underserved rural communities, and the USP, the unique selling point, bridging the healthcare gap through technology. Next slide, please. All right, then we go to the third ingredient, which is called industry overview. You have to describe all about that industry. What are the opportunities there? Why are you in that industry at all? How do you now do this? You research your industry to get data. You have to get data about all that has been happening before you came into that business. You detail it. You present data on the market size and growth. You will not tell me that you want to enter a business with no potentials. No potential for growth. The size is not there. The market is not attractive. Nobody will go there. All right? So it will only be justified when you enter a business. You enter a sector with opportunity. So you have to present data on the market size and growth chances, which you can tap from. All those will interest your investors. Then you identify the key trends affecting the industry. When you detail all of these, it's going to sound in the mind of the investor that you actually know what you are doing. If they fund you, if they give you the fund that your business requires to travel far, it is not just going to be a flop. So we look at an example. The mobile healthcare industry is worth $50 billion today and is projected to grow at 20% CAGR over the next 5 years. Please continue. Please continue. All right. Then we look at business model and market analysis. I've said before that you enter the industry because there's opportunity there. Okay? Now, business model refers to how you make money or how you intend to make money in your business. What are you going to do to get funds? To get money in the business. Remember, you are getting funds from your investor. But you have to prove to them that when you start this business, when you do what you are supposed to do, money will come in. How do you now prove that money will come? You have to identify the main revenue streams in your business. You define your target markets, identify them, define them very properly. Then, why is your offering needed in the market? Why are you relevant? All those have to be proven to your investor so that they can have interest in your business. All right? So we look at an example. We earn revenue through a subscription model targeting the 10 million rural residents lacking access to healthcare. We have mentioned how money will be made. We have mentioned the size of people that will give us money. All right, then we go forward. We go further. Different revenue streams that you can utilize. Your revenue streams can be based on any combination of the following. You know, you can make money from multiple sources, but the primary source is when you make sales, either sales of your service or your product. But other adjoining things can be coming to your business in forms of revenue. Now, you have to itemize it. The first one is product sales, when you release your goods and service in exchange for money. Advertising revenue, licensing fees, commission fees, subscription fees, service fees, all of them are bringing money to you. You have identified multiple sources, about 6 here now. Please, next slide. All right, look at this. Look at this business model detailing how Uber's revenue streams work. They make money from commission sales, commission fees, service fees, advertising revenue, all of them. It has to be detailed. It's not limited to only Uber. Your business, you may not know, you have more than one source of revenue. Not limiting to only making your cake, selling the cake and getting money. No. You can still get money from training, from all those. You itemize all those in your pitch deck under business model and market analysis so that the person you want to win is that can actually see that, okay, if cake selling is not working, this person can still train and bring money in through services rendered. Please, next slide. All right, you can see I'm dwelling so much on business model and marketing analysis. This is because your investor wants to see that money given to you will not just travel. It will bring money in. More money will come through the money they are giving you. So, we look at the target market. Your target market also has to be proven, and these can be based on any combination of the following. The demographics, this refers to population of the area you want to capture. The geographics, it has to do with location. A particular part of Lagos, they patronize this particular product. A part of Abuja likes this particular product. That is where I'll be. Psychographics, we look at behavior and the industry. Please, next slide. All right. So, this is an example of what I've been saying. When you consider demographics, I said this has to be, it has to do with the ages in a population. We consider the numbers of people falling in that category. So demographics, urban commuters of all ages, that is who they serve at Uber. Geographic, residents of urban areas worldwide. Psychographics, convenience-seeking, tech-savvy consumers. Then behavior, we look at frequent travelers or those without personal transportation. I'm using Uber as an example because I cannot come up with all your businesses. I just want you to be looking inward. As I use this particular example, look inward your own. What are the demographics? Okay? What are the geographics in your business? Then, identifying the customer pain points. This allows you to create solution your customers find valuable? What are those things that they need, that their existence depends on, which they must get, but they are not getting? That is when you will now come with that solution, with solution to that problem. All right? Now, benefits of being customer-centric. When we say customer-centric, we mean you are looking at things from the angle of your customers. What do they need? What do they want? Not what you want to put out. It is what will satisfy your customers that we are talking about in business, proper business. So, benefits of being customer-centric, when you view things from the angle of your customers, not your own angle. Now, customer-centric businesses succeed by understanding and serving customer needs. Your primary aim is to serve them and not them serving you. Is to make sure you satisfy your customers even though you are getting money from them. But that should be your primary aim. All right. It drives innovation, fosters loyalty, and leads to growth. Because they complained, we are not satisfied with this your product. They gave review. Some of them, they went negative. You will now return to your drawing board to go and innovate on how to satisfy them further. Then we go ahead again. You want to uncover customers' pain points. How do you do that? You want to know what they actually need, what is causing harm to your customers. Okay? You want to know their pain, you want to know their worries. There are avenues you can use to do this. The first of them is market research. Conduct your own market research. Make sure you get how they are feeling through your market research. You can use interviews when they come to patronize you. Interview them, engage them, sample their opinions. Okay? Then surveys. You can do survey. You can do questionnaire. When they come, it could be anonymous. Give it to them to write. Are you satisfied? What improvement do you want to see? What do you want us to stop? What do you want us to improve upon? All of those would serve you. And we have direct customer feedback. You engaging them one-on-one, asking them to tell you eye to eye, what are your problems with my products? Okay? Now, Huber identified a customer pain point as what? The difficulty in hauling a cab in busy cities. Through research, they address the problem by creating user-friendly app, allowing customers to book a ride with just a few taps on their phone. All centered on what the customers want, not what Uber wants. Please, next slide. You can see we are talking so much on business model, and it's for a reason. They want to see that you are going to make money back from money given to you. Okay? You want to prove that you know the market, and you want to prove that you are going to get it. You are going to get the most out of the market you are entering. We look at what market needs. What market needs does your product or service meet? Once again, I'm going back to being customer-centric, looking at things from the angle of the customers, of the consumers. Okay? Now, we consider convenience. How customers want convenience, efficiency. Product that they buy from you must be efficient. Your service delivery has to be efficient. Okay? Affordability. Are they affordable? Can they pay for your products? Or they are on the high side? Luxury and innovation. Innovation refers to doing what others are not doing. Going the extra mile to refine your own products. Okay? We can move. Next slide. Then, we have got to where we are going. This is where the interest of the investors, this is where it lies. They want to see that how do you want to make this money? You have to make a projection for how money will come into you. There's what we call cash flow. Cash flow refers to how money travels into and in and out of your account. How you make money in terms of your revenue, other income, and all of those. Then how money goes out in terms of costs. Now, financial projection provides estimates of your company's future. Your revenue, that is the money that is coming to you, your expenses, money that is going out, and profitability, money that you make after you have deducted your costs from your revenue. Okay? Now, your financial section should project your revenues, your costs, your profit for the next 3 to 5 years. As a person that is pitching, I have to prove to my potential investor that this is 2026, my plan for 2027, 2028, 2029, all right, 2030. It has to be detailed to them so that they will know I have confidence in my future. If I deploy my acumen, if I deploy my strength, my time, or my dedication to running of this business, I can comfortably say that I'm going to make this money over the next 2, 3 years, 5 years in some cases. You have to highlight your key assumptions, underline these figures, these projections. You do not just say you are going to make 50 million in the next 1 year. When what you are doing now is just 2 million, you are just assuming. So all your assumptions has to be backed by realistic efforts, realistic data. What did you use to make this projection? You have to back it up with your facts. And the facts would be from your past data, past performances, and when you had growth rates to your business. You can say, I grew in 2024, traveling to 2025 by 5%, 25 to 26 by 10%. So I can assume that my 26 to 27 is going to be about 15 to 20%. So you have to prove it that you know why you are making this projection. You are foreseeing this money that has not come to you, that they will come. Next slide, please. Okay. Market research is the number one key thing you need to use in making your financial projection. Market research. How do you do this? There are publicly available data presenting what happens in the markets. Okay? Now, other things to do is to look at your consciously prepared research that you did yourself. Then you do your cost projection that over time, in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm going to expend some money. All right. I'll be expending some money on this course. This money is going to leave me. Not that I lost money, but I am spending on some projects. You have to just make sure that you present your cost projection, and that will inform your profit projection. In 2025, I made this particular profit. 26, I am presently making this profit. By 2027, I want to make double. So, you project for your costs. Likewise, you project for your profits. Next slide, please. Okay, let's look at this particular assumption. Assumptions, this can include your conversion rates, your customer acquisition costs, etc. You have to be conservative, especially when dealing with an unfamiliar market. You don't quote a bogus percentage of growth. bogus increase, they will just defeat your process. All right, example, our projection assume a conservative market, penetration rate of 1%, that is real, an average customer lifetime value of $300, and a customer acquisition cost of $50. Please, next slide. Investment opportunity. You have to clearly show how investment you are seeking. Show how much investment you are seeking. How much money do you need to be funded to support your business? You cannot just say, fund me. No. You have to state it. I need $10 million, $10,000 from you, and this is how I'm going to spend it. Explain how the funds will be used. Highlight the expected outcomes or the milestones you aim to reach with this investment. This particular investment, if given to me, is going to make me travel further. I'm going to make these milestones in the next 2 years if I access this fund from you. You highlight the expected outcomes and milestones you aim to reach with the investment. Then you outline the potential return for the investors. Investors are not just giving you money. They want a return for what they are giving you. You have to detail it that if I work with this particular money and I achieve all these outcomes, this is going to be coming to you as your own share. Next slide, please. Questions and answers. I'm afraid time will not permit us to do that. Please go on. Now, we are looking at the visual presentation in your pitch deck. 2 key things have to feature because investors naturally don't have time. They don't have time for stories. So when you want to do things, you have to do them smartly. How do you become smart in making your pitch deck? You have to employ graphics and charts. You employ pie charts to describe what 2,000 words cannot describe for you. A single pie chart can do for you. Just make sure you are not making your slides boring. You are not making your slides so wordy, so lengthy. All right? Employ graphics like bar charts, pie charts, as the case may be. And you can use images to tell a story. What 2,000 words will not do for you, a single image can pass better information. Next slide, please. Consistency and clarity in your pitch deck. There has to be consistency and there has to be clarity. What you are trying to communicate has to be clear, even to the blind. Consistency, you have to maintain a consistent design through your pitch deck. Not that page 1, other fonts were used. Maybe you use Calibri 12. When you get to the next slide, use another design, another font. You got what I mean. Thank you very much. So there has to be that consistency from slide 1 to the last slide, from A to Z. And it has to be clear and simple. Clarity and simplicity is very key. Make sure your message is easily understandable. A pitch deck is going to your investor, and investors naturally don't have time. They're just squeezing out time for you. And the aim of you pitching, the aim of you sending out your pitch deck is to invite their interest, to call you for a meeting, to call you for collaboration, to call you for further talks. Now, when you have bored them with what you have sent out, you are not going to get any response. So we have to be smart when we are doing our pitch deck. Next slide, please. So what are the do's and don'ts when you want to do your pitch deck? I begin with the do's. What are those things you must do if you want to do your pitch deck? The first of them is you have to know your investor. My investors that I'm targeting can be different from yours. So you have to know your own. Know your own investor you are running after. Know what they want, all right? Then familiarize yourself with your pitch deck. I cannot just come here now without looking at this previously. I will fumble. So you want to go and present, make sure You have seen it over time. You have rehearsed. When they call you for a presentation, I believe some of us were here yesterday when some people pitch their business. So, if you are not familiar with your deck, you are going to fumble if you are called for a meeting. Proof of concepts. All the concepts you have used in making your pitch deck, you must have proofs for them. Then you have to keep them concise. Concise, I mean, they have to be short and straight to the point. Very straight to the point. You are not blabbing. You are not just rigmaroling. Make sure you go straight to the point. Then you end with an ask. An ask means you are demanding for a particular amount in investment. So you have to end it with what you're actually requesting for. So what are the never do's? What are the don'ts when you are preparing your pitch deck? The first one is exaggerating claim. I said before that your performance in business in 2026 might be 10 million naira for the whole year as your revenue. Now you want to approach your investor. You are claiming you want to do 200 million in the next 1 year. You have exaggerated. You want to satisfy yourself, but I can bet you are going to be defeated when they engage you. You cannot prove it. Use complicated jargons. Of course, investors, they are not going to be impressed by your English. They are not going to be confused by your carelessness. So make sure you are dealing with somebody that is far ahead of you. Make sure you simplify things you can defend, things you can just, you can put light on if you are called upon. You cannot rush your pitch. You have to do them carefully. Make sure all the points are hit on the spot. Do not neglect the question and answers because you are sending it out to awaken their interest. All right. Then, do not forget your passion. Your passion is your main fuel that drives you to enter the business, to remain there, and to want to expand. All right, next slide, please. Hey, I will not be able to go over this. Please, next. Next. I've been told to wrap up. I can just take 1 or 2 questions, then I'll go. Please, 1 or 2 questions, and I go. I've been prompted to stop. Thank you for having me, everybody. Apologies to the...
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate Moses one more time. How would you describe his session? Has it been insightful? Informative, right? What did you learn?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hedred Musa. So I learned what to do in your pitch deck and what not to do so you don't bore your investors. Thank you.
Were you here for the pitch deck yesterday? Yes.
Anyone
Thank you
from
very
the
much.
side questions?
Please a resounding round of applause for her. Thank you. Good morning, women of impact. No. I've left 2 people. Should I come back? We used to give energy here. Good morning, women of impact. That's the energy. Distinguished guests, welcome to day 3. No, it has to go higher. Welcome to day 3. How are we all feeling? We're all feeling good, right? Day 1, we had rethink. Day 2,
Reinvest.
day 3,
Regenerate.
day 3. Please a resounding round of applause for yourselves. Once again, welcome to day 3 of Global Africa Women Sustainability Conference 2.0, happening right here at the Center of Excellence. My name is Esther Mello, and I am delighted to return again as your master of ceremony. And of course, I'm not doing this alone. I have my delectable co-host. Please a resounding round of applause.
Thank you very much, Esther. My name is Augustina Augustine, and it's my pleasure to meet you once again. And if you're seeing us for the very first time, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yes, if you're seeing us for the very first time, you actually missed a lot, right? If you were here day one, please indicate by raising your hand. Beautiful. If you were here day two, please indicate by raising your hand. Beautiful. You missed day. Oh. If this is your first time, oh, we're sorry. Should we tell her? You missed a lot. But don't worry, we'll bring you up to speed. So right now, we're going to have a quick recap of what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about finance. We talked about money. On Wednesday, we talked about thinking, and I said, before you do anything, you have to first of all think about it before doing it. And then even after doing it, you need, in my language, they say is ego, that's money. How do we say it in Hausa? Kudi. How do we say it in Yoruba? Oh, you need owo, you need kudi, you need ego to move the business to the next level. Now today, what are we looking at? Regenerate. So let's talk about what happened yesterday. What was the major takeaway for you? What happened here yesterday? What was the major highlight for you? What did you learn? Oh, we have somebody. I like this side. Oh, Augustina, you have someone over there.
Of course I do.
What happened yesterday? We want to know.
Okay, I'll take this one.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Joanna.
Joanna, you look pretty.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, my major highlight for yesterday was when the speakers talked about record keeping.
Joanna, can you stand so we can see?
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good
So, I was
morning.
saying that my major highlight for yesterday's session was when the speakers were talking about record keeping, right?
Yeah.
I heard stuff like you must have an account of the things that have happened in your business.
Yeah.
From the inflow to the outflow, keep track of everything. And it got me thinking, a lot of business owners really don't track their records like that. And it opened my eyes to understand that, listen, no matter the kind of business you are doing, whether it's small business, medium, big, you actually need to keep your financials right. So that in case you have an investor or someone who wants to put money into your business, they reach out to you, you can show this that, okay, this is what I've been doing so far. This is the result that I've gotten from this business. You know, it just makes people take you seriously.
Yeah.
That was my key takeaway. I
Thank
loved
you.
every part of yesterday's
Thank
session.
you. Please celebrate her. Okay, I have someone over here.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Ifunaya, and my take home yesterday was when the chief Chinyere was talking about excellence and consistency, and telling your story. Whatever you're doing as a woman, do not let anyone to intimidate you first. Then be consistent in what you're doing. No matter how, when the first participant was talking, she said she started with 5,000 naira right there in her kitchen. Many of us are just waiting to, get the grant of $1 million before you can start. Start with whatever you have. Start right there where you are, and then be consistent, and then don't play with excellence. That's one thing I know. Even if you're frying akara on the roadside, let it be that somebody can drive all the way from Asukoro to get to that woman that is, frying akara at Marababa. It depends on how you project yourself. Who said you must tie whatever you want to tie on your head to do something? You must look good. Dream to, as in where you're going to, that's where when I started making my okpa and moi moi, I didn't start with, carrying it on my head on the tray and all of those things. I got the cooler I was using to sell that okpa at about, I think I got it for like 135,000 naira. Somebody will say you're crazy. It depends on the target market, where your target audience. I didn't want to sell, if you like, sell up at 200 now, that's not my business. Do you get? So don't allow anyone to intimidate you. Get whatever you're doing. Know your vision. Know your target audience. And prepare. Like they said, package yourself and market your package. I don't know how that woman put it, but I like it. So whatever you're doing, project yourself. Make sure you put on a good smile. You know where you started from and you know where you're going to. Hallelujah.
Thank you very much. Okay,
She
so
said,
I'll
put
take...
on a good smile. Look at me, I'm smiling.
I mean, you're packaging your brand now. You want people to perceive you that way. So yeah, I'll take from here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bethel, and a key point I took home yesterday is to get educated in whatever industry you're in so that you can show up best, just like what Efe said. So it doesn't matter what area of education you got into, get to understand the laws that favor you, finding out that there's a new act coming in that will favor us with our trades with China. That was something eye-opening, and I think that's something I took home.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ella. Yesterday, I learned that people are not funding businesses, they are funding people. So you need to know what you're doing, you need to be ready, you need to have your hands on what you're doing, even if you have people handling it for you. Thank you.
Thank you. People are not funding. What are they funding? People. Okay. Augustina?
Yes, please.
All right. We have someone over here.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm Gracie Osioma, the founder of Avis Foods Limited. Yesterday, I was thrilled by the lady that started her business with 5,000 naira and was uplifted by coming to impart her. I'm here. I came from all the way from Edo State. I have built my business. I have the certification, documentation, structure, and I even have patent rights for 2 of my products from the federal government of Nigeria. Here, what I have to do here today is to come and hold the hem of your garments. I'm not going to leave here today because I have seen everything that is happening with Impact Her, and I know my business is going to move to the next level because I need market access. I need to have my business 100% sustainable in terms of green business solution. Thank you. I'm into cocoyam. I produce cocoyam and plantain flour. Both of them are organic and they are patented. Avis Foods Limited. I mentioned, I said I'm the CEO, founder of Avis Foods Limited.
Thank you so much. All right, so
there's something that comes with saying, I'm the CEO. Please, let's celebrate her. Whoa.
Business, even without knowing the term. My business have been green since I started 7 years ago. So they are all with all the certification, NAFDAC, SON, HACCP, and US FDA. And this product here is patented because
and you know
it has innovation in it.
Nice. So the fun part about today's program is we are regenerating to build ecosystem that favors your business. So it's good that you're here to learn. So I'll take the very last.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wasilat. I'm the CEO of Sublime Cakes and Confectionaries. One of the pertinent things I took home yesterday is that emotion is not considered when you fail to do the due diligence. I got to learn that one yesterday from Assistant Controller General of Custom that said if you don't package your document properly, they will not take your emotions. They won't listen to you. So that's what I took home yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everybody have spoken beautifully. But the truth is, yes, I wish we could take all the responses in person. That's why you can always send your feedback to Impact Her. You can use our website. You can use the email. You can also follow us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Impact Her.
That's right. And if you want to get in touch with Impact Her, just send them a message on Instagram and on Facebook at Impact Her. Now, today is the final day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of goodies. Do you have your raffle tickets? Oh, okay. So this is a good time, maybe much later, not now, because we're about to kick off this conference. Much later, you can take a walk to the exhibition center. Let it be shop till you drop.
Exactly.
Because right here at this conference, someone would win flight tickets.
You're not seeing your excitement. Flight tickets.
Flight tickets. Clock it. I love that.
So it might just be you.
And we have goodie bags, gift bags that will be going around as well. we have grants. We had the 4 persons from the first
Yesterday?
day and today.
Yesterday.
First day and yesterday.
Yeah.
Are they here? Because you'll be, oh, nice, you'll be pitching your business today. So much later, you would go over to the green room to meet with Chinelo. But distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please once again a resounding round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you so much from day 1, 29th, down to the Happy New Month.
Exactly. And a happy Workers' Day.
Happy Workers' Day. Happy New Month. Please celebrate yourselves. Thank you. We would allow the members of the NYC Corps to serenade us with their sound for the next few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 of this conference. Thank you. Ladies, please get settled as we're about to kick off the conference. Thank you. Please get settled. Good morning, Your Excellencies, esteemed delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 3 of Global Africa Women's Sustainability Conference 2.0.
Let's make it better.
I think
Thank
we
you.
can do better. I think we can do better. Now, day one, we talked about rethinking. And I said, whatever it is you want to do, you have to first of all think about it. Yesterday, we talked about reinvesting.
Exactly.
We talked about finance. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we are looking at regenerating. Of course, we know the importance of sustainability in Africa and, of course, globally. That will be the focus of this conference today. Now, we've lined up amazing speakers, individuals who have made impact across several sectors. When I'm talking about powerhouses, I mean powerhouses that would grace this stage. It started from day one. Today, as a grand finale, it would be extremely exciting. And we're super excited to have you join us here today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am your master of ceremony. My name is Estelle Mello, and it is a delight to stand in front of you today for the day 3 of this conference. And of course, I have my co-host here with me. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Augustina Augustine, a professional compare beauty queen, a public speaking coach, and of course, today I will be working as your master of ceremony to bring the vision to life. For the past 2 days, we've talked reinvest, we've talked rebuild, which of course is to rethink, because like you said, the mind is a power tool. Yeah. And of course, today, like earlier she mentioned, we're going to regenerate. Why you should build sustainable ecosystems for long-term impact.
That's right. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off this conference today, I would crave your indulgence please focus your attention on the multimedia screen as we'll start today's event with an address from the Vice President, Collectivité of St. Martin, no other person but Her Excellency, Honorable Benedict Davis. Distinguished guests, please focus your attention on the multimedia screen. Thank you.
Distinguished ministers, honored leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and to the extraordinary women who are already building the future, good day to you all. And let me begin by saying it's truly an honor to be with you, even across the distance. Attitude to impact her, to the African Union, to the city of Abuja, I love, and every partner for creating a space like this. Because spaces like this do not just gather people, they shift direction. I had every intention of being there with you physically. But leadership does not always allow us the luxury of choosing where we need to be. And I know, especially in a room like this, you understand that. Because women who lead do not lead when it's convenient. We lead when it is necessary. So today, I'm here with you in purpose, in spirit, and in commitment. But more than that, my daughter Ijoma is in your midst, since she was supposed to accompany me. Nigeria is not new to me. In the early 80s, I lived here. I worked here. I managed a company here in Enugu, and that was once Anambra State. I was a young woman raising a family then, still finding my way. And Nigeria taught me something that has stayed with me for more than 40 years. It taught me that real growth does not come from titles. It comes from people, from trust, from relationships built over time. Nigeria taught me how to build from the inside out. So when I speak about Africa's future today, I'm not speaking from a distance. I'm speaking from connection. Because for many of us in the Caribbean, Africa is not a place we visit. It's something we carry. We carry it in our resilience, in our rhythm, in the way we rise again and again, no matter the circumstances. And that is why this conversation matters so deeply. Because when we speak about global Africa, we are speaking about responsibility. That's a shared responsibility to build something stronger than what we inherited. That is why women's sustainable innovation matters now, not tomorrow, now. Because the truth is, women have always been innovators. We build for impact, for family, for community, for the next generation, whether or not we are here to see it. And that kind of thinking, my friends, is exactly what sustainability requires. Because sustainability is not just about protecting the planet, it's about protecting people. It's about whether families can live with dignity, whether women can access opportunity, whether our daughters inherit possibility or limitation. And across Africa and across the Caribbean, women are already doing this work. But too often, they are doing it without access, without capital, without a seat at the table. That must change. Not slowly, but intentionally. The Caribbean diaspora is not separate from Africa's story. We are an extension of it. And because of that, we have a role to play, not as observers, but as partners. We must connect. We must invest. We must build together. Because when Africa and the Caribbean work together, we don't just create opportunity, we multiply it. The theme of this conference gives us 3 words, and I leave them with you, not as ideas, but as action. Rethink. Who has been excluded and what changes when she is included? Reinvent. What would we build if we designed it for our daughters? Regenerate. What are we leaving behind that is stronger than what we found? The question is no longer whether women should lead. That question has already been answered. The real question is, how much longer can the world afford to underestimate us? Because Africa is not waiting, the Caribbean is not waiting, and our daughters are certainly not waiting, and neither should we. Let us build, let us connect, let us lead, and let us create a global Africa where women are not invited to the table, but where women design it, build it, and own what comes next. Nigeria, it is good to be with you again, even from a distance. My heart is with you. Thank you Bon après-midi, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please, once again, a resounding round of applause for that short video. Thank you. We'll move swiftly into our first panel. And today it's on the topic, Green Jobs for Global Africa's Future, Building a Climate-Ready Workforce. And to moderate this panel, ladies and gentlemen, our moderator is a certified public relations associate and a broadcast journalist. I think she's my sister as well, a broadcast journalist. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome the brilliant, delectable Gift Sani on stage. Please celebrate her as she comes on stage. I think we can do better. We can do better. Celebrate our intelligent moderator that would moderate this very important panel this morning. This is our first panel, so we need to be energetic and just give them the vibe. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the Masters of Ceremony for such good introduction. Let me start by saying it is nice to see this many people willing to come sit to listen and talk about the growth of Africa. On this panel session, we're going to be talking about green jobs for global Africa's future, building a climate-ready workforce. On this panel session, we have very great speakers who are making waves in their various industry. We're honored to have a chartered accountant, senior lecturer in taxation at the University of South Africa. She has over 14 years of experience. She is particularly passionate about the role of skill development for young African women to actively participate in emerging green industries. With a round of applause, please welcome Thuli Mogale from South Africa. Please keep clapping till she comes up stage. Thank you. Our next speaker is the founder and CEO of Installer, a clean energy workforce platform. She is the convener of Installer, a gender-focused initiative building a pipeline of female solar installers. She's also an award-winning entrepreneur and a thought leader. Please make welcome Chinwe Udo Davies as she comes up stage. Please keep clapping till my speakers come up stage. We can do better. Up next is a venture building and job tech expert with over 10 years of experience designing and scaling inclusive digital work ecosystem across Africa. Please welcome Brenda Nabatia from Kenya. Our next speaker is a representative of the African Union International Center for Girls and Women's Education in Africa. She contributes to advancing gender equality and education for girls and women across the continent. Please join me in welcoming with a round of applause Aswe Sources Barbara. Please keep clapping, we can do better. It's really a pleasure to have you all here. We're excited to hear from your insight on the theme of this panel session. So let's move straight into the conversation. Thuli Mogale, I'd like to start with you. What practical changes are most needed within university curricula to better prepare graduates for career in sustainability and renewable sector?
Thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. I think firstly, I just want to say that you cannot build a green economy without a solid skills foundation. So as much as we focus on industry and building businesses, we also need to make sure that the skills are there. And it's the role of technicons, colleges, and universities to build those skills. There's a lot that needs to change in that space. It doesn't move fast enough. I work for a 150-year-old university. It's an old machine that moves very slowly. But there's four things that I think are critical if you want to start developing the skills in the country to service the local economy as well as international economies that will be demanding skilled workers. The first one is we need to align qualifications, what we teach, with the future opportunities. We have a lot of unemployed graduates even in South Africa because the qualifications that are out there are not aligned to the opportunities, not opportunities that just exist now. We need to look into the future. So the green economy presents such opportunities. So we need to beef up the qualifications that are aligned to that. The second thing is sustainability and environmental protection needs to be integrated across the board. It can't just remain as a specialization. Whether you are starting a business, whether you're in agriculture, studying law, as an accountant, everybody needs to learn about sustainability. How can we do things better? How can we protect the environment? The third very important factor is technikons, colleges, and universities need to focus on reskilling the workforce. So we have people with qualifications currently that they are not using. We have people with qualifications that are in industries that will be destroyed by the growth of the green economy. We need to reskill the population, otherwise we will see increasing unemployment rates. And then lastly, I think universities need to introduce a bigger practical component. It's no use to have a 3-year degree and the person has only learned from textbooks in a classroom. I was very inspired by how the businesses here prioritize training, because we need to practically train people to do the work. A certificate is great, but you also need to be equipped as a graduate with the skills to actually do the work. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really powerful. But of course, education is one side, and the market demand is another. So Chinwe, I'd like to bring you in on the industry side. What skill are most in demand today in the renewable energy sector, and where is the talent gap?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure being here. I've really enjoyed the session. Okay, so how I see the renewable energy sector, particularly in Africa, I think it's a big opportunity for us. Because on one hand, we see this growth, massive growth, with solar to help us solve the energy problems. We have the power of the sun on the continent. On the other hand, we see high unemployment rate as well. So I think this is one big opportunity for us to create a lot of jobs for unemployed youth across Africa. And what we see when we look at the renewable energy sector, there are so many opportunities where people can actually play. I mean, the one that jumps out is the technical roles, right? Something as simple as laying the solar panels, the technicians. And the question I always ask is, who will climb the roof of the 600 million people without electricity on the African continent? So we need to train these technicians to be able to take those job opportunities, because we also see that there's a lot of gap. The solar sector, they are struggling, at the last mile when they need to deploy projects in the rural community. There's a big struggle finding the right skill at the right place. So there's a lot of opportunity in the technical roles, in the engineering roles, in the after-sales maintenance as well, the maintenance of those systems. We see a lot of data analysis as well that has to happen. So that as well, I think there's opportunity for green data analysts as well. It's an up and coming role. So there's so many opportunities, and I think people need to take advantage. It's a massive, massive industry. It's a $2.5 billion industry annually in Africa, and we literally do not have the people to do the job. So I think it's a massive, and there are so many areas where young people can participate. Yeah.
Interesting, Chinwe. Thank you for that. I'd like to ask you, Barbara, how is the conversation around education for girls evolving to reflect the demand of the future green economy?
All right, thank you very much, and thank you to the former panelists. The first thing I would like to underline is that the green economy is embedded in the AU frameworks, such as the Agenda 2063, and equally the Continental Education Strategy for Africa, right? But the green economy is central to girls' education because when we have climate-related challenges, it directly affects girls' education. When we have droughts, when we have floods, children don't go to school. And when children don't go to school, girls tend to be the one who do not return back to school. So it is central to the discussion around girls' education. And there's also an accentuated conversation around TVET and STEM for girls in this age. So there's a deliberate emphasis on gender-responsive TVET and STEM for girls because these are the fields of the future. And embedded in this STEM and TVET, we have the green economy, we have climate-related issues. And if these things are seen correctly or if they are dealt with correctly, then we can have a generation of girls that are well-equipped to manage the green economy and also manage some of the climate crisis that we're having. And lastly, as the African Union International Center for Girls and Women's Education in Africa, we are organizing the second Pan-African Conference on Girls and Women's Education. It will be happening in July, the 2nd to the 4th of July in Burundi. And STEM, TVET, AI, and climate-related issues are some of our top thematic focuses. So I would like to invite anyone who would be interested in attending this conference. You can go to our social media, our website, and you'll be able to see information on this conference. So what am I saying in a nutshell? The conversation is happening around the green economy, around the climate, the impact of climate on girls' education because it impacts directly or sometimes indirectly the education of girls, their access to schools, their retention in school systems, and also their completion of the school systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Success. I'd like to ask you, Brenda, we've heard a lot about digital platform and job creations. How are tools like job matching platform, training apps, and online marketplace helping young people access green jobs?
So I get excited by this question because it's basically asking what's the role of tech, right, when it comes to the sustainability space. But usually we start with tech instead of understanding the potential of the space to begin with. Tech is an enabler, so it can't work on its own. It needs to maximize the potential of the space that it's working in. So I'm going to paint a picture of where these income or work opportunities are in this space. There have been studies by International Labour Organization, FSD Africa, and Shortlist that have said there are 60 million projected work opportunities that are going to be created by this space in Africa by 2030. That's in 4 years. So when you look at that big number, you have to then ask yourself, where are these work opportunities? So there are 4 emerging sectors led by the energy and power. So Chinwe has already spoken to that. It's going to dominate 70% of this number. So that you're already able to see the potential of just renewable energy and power, driven by solar predominantly. The second sector is going to take 20% of this figure, which is agriculture and nature conservation. So anything or any tech taking place in agriculture and nature conservation will take 20% of that pie. So we have 2 sectors taking the remaining 10%, which is waste recycling and then mobility and transport. So now that you know those 4 emerging sectors and where the jobs or income opportunities are in this space, now tech can come in, right? So depending on the 4 sectors, tech looks very different. It is not a copy and paste. It is more, what does this sector need? And then tech is able to plug in and play the right role. So in energy and power, which is dominating 70%, tech can help in skilling and placement of talent into jobs. So technicians, Chinwe is a founder for Installer. She's already doing that, so I'll let her speak more on that. But that's the big piece that is needed for tech to play in that sector. The agriculture and nature conservation, when we look at that, it's very informal and broken. There are so many players across the chain, so it needs a lot of tech that can reduce friction or barriers that are limiting access for anyone in this space. So that's the role that tech can play in there, and that can be done in several ways, especially renting of equipment and different ways to do that. Waste and recycling. Unfortunately, this sector is really well known for very poor work conditions, especially when it comes to sorters and collectors. They don't have access to safety equipment. They also are exposed to hazardous waste and most times are paid very low wages. So tech is one way that can standardize and formalize in a way where it improves the quality of work. So these can be e-commerce marketplaces that are able to support these sorters and workers, or agent models that are able to do this through tech. The last, which is mobility and transport. Tech looks also different from that. And I think several of you already know the ride-hailing platforms. Uber, Bolt, the food delivery platforms like Glovo, they are already integrating electric two-wheeler vehicles into their workspace so that there is more productivity and people can be able to have higher margins. So this is already happening in the big ride-hailing platforms. The other platform that's big in this space is infrastructure. When it comes to infrastructure in the transport and mobility, it is lagging. We're having an increase in electric vehicles, but the infrastructure is lagging, the charging stations and the maintenance. So we need tech to create agent models. The same way in Nigeria, I've seen a lot of POS agents. We need something like that for infrastructure to be sold and distributed in a way that is very, very decentralized so that there's easier access for these different vehicles to get what they need. So long story short, depending on the sector, depending on the potential of that sector, tech looks very different to maximize its potential.
Thank you, Brenda. Chinwe, I'd like to come back to you. Brenda asked us to come back to you. From your experience, what actually works in bringing more women into clean energy roles?
Yeah, okay, thank you. So before I answer that, I'll just touch a little bit on the tech, in the renewable energy space. So how are we using tech to reach more people? So we're doing that through intelligent matching, right? And for us at Installer, for example, we've built out an entirely digital platform that helps us with assessing the technicians, and then we're also able to intelligently match skill to opportunity using the skill and location algorithm. So doing it this way, we're able to reach more people. We're able to spread the jobs because imagine, how will a solar company based in Abuja, for example, know there is a solar technician somewhere near a Sambisa forest? It's nearly impossible to do that. So this is how we're using tech to do this, to be able to identify the people. Now, how do we bring in more women? Sadly, female representation in the renewable energy space, especially when we're talking about the technical roles, it's very limited. In fact, when we started Installer, we realized we had less than 1% women. We were literally looking for female technicians we were not able to find. So what did we do? What we did was to actually create a model that breaks down the barriers. We had to study what are those barriers, what's actually keeping women away from, because women are not lazy. We're known to be, very hard workers. When women are given the opportunity, we do great work. So what is that thing limiting women from coming into the space? And in our studies, there are so many things, from the cultural issues to the religious issues to the biological issues. Women sometimes have to step back in their career to go have children, to financial issues, just so many things, plus the fear of height as well. So we realize in this space as well, there is that small element around the fear of height that is more prevailing in the female population than the male population. So one of the ways was to design a curriculum that breaks down all of these barriers so that way women can come in, right? You don't have to climb the roof to be a solar technician, for example, because you can still play at the SHS level. You can still do the after-sales maintenance. You can do the diagnosis. There are other things women can intelligently and smartly do that takes off the that roof climbing. We've been able to create opportunities for women where, even women who have to stay back home because they have kids are still working remotely and remotely managing solar projects. To answer it broadly, I think it's to be intentional about the design, how you think about the women issues particularly, and create opportunity for women to come in, because data shows that once you empower a woman, you're literally empowering a generation, right? So I think organizations need to make more efforts and be intentional about really making space for women to thrive.
Thank you so much, Chinwe. When you empower a woman, you're empowering a generation. Please, if you need a receiver for non-English speakers, kindly indicate by raising your hands, and our ushers will hand over one to you. Thank you. Success, I would love your insight on what changes are needed within education system to better prepare girls for emerging sectors like renewable energy and sustainability.
Thank you very much. And thanks for some of the solutions that some of our panelists have already mentioned. But I would say start early. So it's beautiful that we're having this discussion in this room, but we have to take this kind of discussion in the classroom as well, in the kindergarten, in early stages, because we are talking about sustainability. Probably in 50 years, many of us will not be here, but the children will be here. Are we having this discussion in the classrooms? Are our teachers equipped to have this discussion in the classrooms? So the first thing would be to start early. There's a lot of discussion around early childhood education and development, and this is some of the discussions that we should embed or include in the early childhood development and education. The second thing is curricula and teacher development. How many of our curricula in Africa have climate-related sustainability, green energy, renewable energy? How many? I think, I don't know if there's any even, right? So this discussion should also get into the government, because this also standardizes it, right? These people in this
begin to pay closer attention to as they plan their careers.
Thank you.
Careers.
Thank you. I think my fellow panelists have already mentioned some of the areas. So the renewable energy space is the biggest thing in the green economy, but the green economy it touches a lot of different sectors and industries. So sustainable agriculture is also very big in Africa. So that is an area that if you're looking to study or upgrade your skills, that's an emerging area. There's also things like sustainable natural resource management. We're looking at water, land, critical minerals. How do we manage our natural resources in a way that is sustainable, that is beneficial for the economy? And we learn from the history and the past of how we previously managed our resources and do things differently this time. Also, if you are in finance, climate finance is a big area. We've had a lot of discussions around funding and how do we get access to funding. There are people actively working on the solutions, and you can go and study how do you structure climate finance. One particularly interesting area with regards to climate finance is around carbon credit markets, where you can actually earn money by removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. So if you are able to, let's say, plant a whole trees in a whole big portion of land, you can turn that into a carbon project and sell carbon credit units to countries that actually need to reduce their emissions. So there are a lot of different opportunities. It's a space that moves very quickly. But I think for Africa, we also need people to focus on research. The way to get ahead in a fast-moving, innovative sector or economy is to actually have a good base of research so that you can invent the solutions and invent new knowledge to actually address African challenges. Most of the time we lag behind and we end up copying from what other countries are doing. We need to develop our own scientists, our own problem solvers. So it needs to be a critical part of the education system as well.
Thank you so much, Tilly. Now, we can talk about the future of work without talking about AI. It's already reshaping both education and employment. I'd like to ask you, Chinwe, in the clean energy sector, how can AI be leveraged to improve efficiency and scale solutions? And what AI-related skills should young Africans prioritize to stay competitive in green jobs?
Okay, thank you. So, I use AI a lot, and I think AI is a beautiful thing. But I also think our challenges in Africa are different. I actually think our problem in Africa is very different. And so, because I don't also want the people seated here to feel like, oh, I don't know how to use AI, so I don't have, there are no opportunities. AI is taking all of the opportunities. That is not the truth, right? Because our problems are different. So if we take solar, for example, the installation of solar, I've seen videos where AI, are laying the solar panels in some very advanced parts of the world. Will that happen anytime soon on the African continent? I hope not, right? Because the 600 million people who need, energy access on the continent is a big job opportunity, as we know, and I don't see AI doing that anytime soon. Having said that, though, people need to know how to use AI, because I believe AI improves your efficiency, like, drastically, right? Some of the things I see, the Gen Zs working for me do in 1 minute, it probably took me 2 weeks to do, when I was their age, trying to put up a presentation. You have to basically do everything, pull all the squares and the boxes, and this is something that with the right prompt, ChatGPT generates it for you in 1 minute. So AI is a beautiful thing, and I think if you can, you need not ignore AI. But if you're also not at that educational level where, you're not able to embed AI now, hope is not lost for you. So that's what I want the crowd to take out. I don't want young people sitting down here who maybe are not at that educational level where they can use the sophisticated tools to feel like hope is lost. No, hope is not lost. Within the renewable energy space, there's still a lot of manual things happening, and you can still play in that space. But for those of us who are at that point where we can, because the thing with AI is AI will replace a lot of jobs. That is true, the truth. AI would take a lot of people's jobs, but AI will take your job if you're not using AI. So how can you intelligently use AI to make yourself more efficient? So if I take another example, you're an executive assistant. You need to be, your productivity level has to increase by 1,000% to justify your pay today. Because if you're really not putting a lot of value on the table for your employer, then AI, then they begin to wonder. I was sitting with an executive the other day, and she was like, this is my executive assistant, I don't even know. Like, what does she do for me? Like, what I ask her to do when she presents it, and then I have 2 minutes with ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives me something more efficient. So you need to embed AI.
Thank you very much. I'll just take 30 seconds to talk about the AI. I think the AI discussion is very, very interesting. But I think we are getting into AI without talking. We have been talking technology for a while now. And what I usually ask myself is Africa even technology ready, right? We are still living in an age where we don't even have electricity all the time. We don't have high-speed internet all the time. There are places where people don't even have phones, they don't have smartphones, but we're already talking AI. So I think that this is further widening the digital gap, but also AI has the possibility of bringing this gap together. So I just want to point out that as much as we're talking about AI, we should also need to look at the things that are surrounding it, the infrastructure, the ICT infrastructure that we have in our countries, the rural women, how are they doing? Are they even able to use a phone? We're talking about digital literacy. Some people are not even at the level of digital literacy. Talk less about AI. So I think that when we get this discussion around AI, we should also look at the infrastructure that supports the AI. Now, to come back to your question on what role can formal and informal education play. So as I said earlier, formal education, we need to start early. We need to put the sustainability discussion, the climate discussion, the green and the blue economies within our curricula, within our systems in school, so that we have children who grow up and we are not trying to teach them when they're already ripe, if I can say that. So they are climate smart from childhood. They know what it means to, is it secular economies, green waste, you know, all of this. Like me, I personally, this is a discussion I'm not very versed with, right? But if we have this in our schools, then we can have it formally. Now, informally, I spoke of TVET as well. This is technical and vocational education and training. There's a lot of discussion around the gap in technical and vocational training. Growing up, people still think that a mechanic should only be a man. I mean, if many people living here, I think they still think that a mechanic is a man, it cannot be a woman. But when I was growing up, I wanted to be a mechanic, actually. I went to my mom and I said, I want to be a mechanic. Because I saw there was a lady mechanic in my neighborhood. I was like, I want to be like that woman. Why are there no women mechanics? My mom said, no, no, no. You cannot be a mechanic. What do you mean by mechanic? So I had to do what I'm doing now, right? I used to say, why are they not female taxi men or taxi women, right? I felt like there were not enough women in these sectors. And now if we are able to bring in the sustainability discussion in these areas as well, so we are able to have male and female people who are skilled to contribute to the economy with knowledge, with the proper knowledge that they need. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we've heard really great insight and perspective from our panelists. Now we'd love to hear from you. If you have a question, a thought, or something you would like one of our speakers to expand on, it's your moment. So we're going to take just 2 people. Please feel free to raise your hand and a mic will be brought to you.
Just your name, and then you go straight to your question. How many questions?
2. We're taking just 2 people.
Just 2.
Yes, 2.
Just 2. I don't want people to beat me after this event. So who do I pick now?
So,
okay.
Excuse me, MC. She raised her hand first before I finish talking.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Good morning, or good morning, everybody. My name is Iweze Rose. I work with the environmental management. And this very session is really, really exciting for me. So thank you so much. I want to start, my question is cut across, but I have 2 specifics. for the AU rep and then Madam Chinwe. Madam Chinwe, let me just start with you because yours is a very simple one. What's the level of awareness, of this solar installation in Nigeria? What's the percentage now? Because, the government, what is the involvement of the government in it? Are they doing what they ought to do to be able to bridge that gap? And then for the AU rep, can we have like a comprehensive curriculum on this particular green jobs, sustainability, climate, smart, programs and all that, so that we know that it is starting with you. So, if you start with AU, then it will not cascade down to all the other countries. Thank you so much.
I have to move. Are you taking the question now, or should I go to the next person?
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I can take the question. Thank you so much for that beautiful question. So, the thing is, with green skills and green jobs, I think the awareness is not quite there. So when I founded and started Installer 3 years ago, I remember people were, and then when we started talking to investors, they were like, what are you talking about? Green skills, green jobs. That even investors didn't understand when I was pitching on the gap that existed on the African continent with the skills. So the awareness is not as it should be. But I also see the government also now jumping on that space and beginning to talk a lot about it. So we've seen that in the last 12 months, there's been more. We're no longer the lone voice in the forest preaching about green skills, because there's all these beautiful surveys that have come out by international organizations. So now there is awareness, and people are beginning to realize that, oh yes, by the way, this, because we've solved the technology and the funding problem for solar. We see all the beautiful technology, all the inverters, the batteries, and all that. We've also solved the funding problem, but the skill problem is still there. But I don't see it as a problem. It's an opportunity. So to answer your question, yes, I see government now beginning to talk about it, where we've also had a lot of engagement with government as well, how to, upskill, standardize, certification. But there's still a lot of gap. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Should we get the other question? Yes, please, let's get the other question.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My question is, how do one get info? My name is Ruth, I'm sorry. How do I get info on solar trainings like in Abuja? Because most times we hear that people have been trained, but we are not aware. I didn't hear. So I wish to get more info on such trainings.
Okay, thank you. Funny enough, we just finished one training a couple of months in Abuja for our Install Her initiative, because we have an initiative called Install Her. So, you could look up on our website, register your interest, and anytime the train is coming back, the train is moving to Nairobi now. We're starting a cohort in Nairobi for 35 women. So anytime the train comes back to Abuja, then we would contact you. But there are so many opportunities in the space. You need to, look out. On LinkedIn, I see, because the awareness is there now, I see a lot of, there are other players as well in the solar space. I know who are doing, different female empowerment. And fortunately for the women, it's always funded. I know the men now complain like, when are you also funding us? So there's a lot. Just look out. I could also point you out to some places where you could register.
So what stood out for me from this conversation is that the opportunity in green space are real, but you need access, skill, and inclusion, and that's what determines what you benefit from it. I just want to say, okay, so we're just going to answer one more question. Thank you.
All right, so she asked about the comprehensive curriculum for the green economy. To my knowledge, I don't think there's any country yet that has a curriculum for the green economy, but that's why this conference is. And thank God that we have ministers here in the house that can hear, because the AU as a body is not, we don't implement in member states directly. We work with the government to implement in the member states. But these are some of the advocacy that we're doing. And currently, Impacta is having a training on green economy in collaboration with the AU. So these are some of the interventions that we are doing in different countries to be able to amplify the work. And with time, I think we'll get this into the curricula as it will be optimal to get. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Success. I just want to say a big thank you to our panelists. You have shared great insight and practical perspective. We appreciate you. Please, a round of applause for our panelists. Let's appreciate them. They did very well. We can make the club better. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please once again celebrate this wonderful panelist and, of course, our amazing moderator. Well done. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we turn to the most important institution financing Africa's future, the African Development Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome the Chief Gender Officer, African Development Bank Group, no other person but Dr. Maria Jose Moreno Ruiz. Please, a resounding round of applause as she comes up for her speech. And it's about accelerating global Africa's sustainable growth. I think we can do better. Come on, let's keep clapping until she comes up on stage. Thank you. Let's celebrate our speaker. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished guests, honorable ministers, excellencies, leaders from the public and private sectors, from the development partners, dear colleagues, women entrepreneurs and partners. It is a great honor to join you today at the Global African Women Sustainability Conference. I would like to sincerely thank Impact Her, our partners at the African Union and the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja, for convening this important platform. I'm always impressed when I come to the conference organized by Impact Her. This important platform brings together Africa and the diaspora about a shared vision for sustainable, gender-responsive, and gender-inclusive growth, centering women entrepreneurs and systems that work. The theme of the conference, Rethink, Reinvent, Regenerate, is both timely and powerful, because today we are not talking about inclusion, just talking about inclusion as we used to do. We are talking about transformation. We are talking about who designs Africa's future economy and on what terms. And the message is clear. Women entrepreneurs are not beneficiaries of development. They are architects of Africa's economic resilience and sustainable growth. We are meeting at a defining moment for Africa. The demographic dividend, green transition, rapid digitalization, global economic changes, integration of African markets, and the growing economic influence as well of African diaspora are converging to create a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reshape the growth model. If we get this moment right, by investing in women and in systems that work, we unlock productivity, innovation, jobs, and long-term competitiveness and quality of life for African citizens. The evidence is compelling. Bridging gender gaps in entrepreneurship and finance could add billions of dollars to Africans' growth. But beyond numbers lies something even more important. Women-led enterprises are more likely to create local jobs, reinvest in communities, and adopt sustainable practices that endure. This is precisely where the African Development Bank Group has placed its focus. At the bank, we see gender equality not only as a social imperative and human rights imperative as it is, but also as an economic and development imperative, central to Africa's industrialization, central to food security, central to climate transition, and to human capital development. Our approach is practical and systemic, built at around 3 core levers. First, unlocking finance and strengthening ecosystem for women entrepreneurs. Through our flagship initiative, the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa, AFAWA, we are addressing the most persistent barriers facing women-led businesses. Access to finance. AFAWA is designed to mobilize up to $5 billion in financing for women entrepreneurs across Africa. But AFAWA is not just about capital. It is about building an ecosystem, working with financial institutions, providing guarantees, technical assistance, and capacity building so that women-owned enterprises can scale, formalize, and compete. Today, over $2 billion have already been approved, reaching tens of thousands of women entrepreneurs across the continent. Because finance is necessary, but is not sufficient, what matters is whenever that finance translates into productive enterprises, sustainable growth, and decent jobs. Which brings me to the second lever, that is job, skills, and employability for women. Under the bank gender strategy, we are accelerating women economic integration and job creation through targeted investments in skills development, entrepreneurship, and value chain integration, particularly in high-growth sectors such as agribusiness, energy, digital services, and green industries. When women entrepreneurs grow, they create jobs, and in particular for women and for youth. They ensure value chains locally, and that matters. They expand opportunity where it needed most. Supporting women-led enterprises is one of the most effective job creation strategies available to us. And the third level is opening markets and changing the rules of the game. Too often, women businesses remain locked out of large markets, public procurement, regional trade, and global value chains. That is why the bank is supporting affirmative procurement reforms, trade facilitation, and policy dialogue that make markets more accessible, transparent, and fair. This conference is a powerful example of that approach, connecting women-led businesses to investors and partners across Africa and beyond. What you are building here is market access with intent. And this brings me directly to why this conference matters so deeply. Your focus on sustainable business models, green innovation, digital tools, trade readiness, and access to sustainable finance mirrors the transformation Africa can and must achieve. Sustainability is not longer optional. Businesses that integrate environmental responsibility and social inclusion are the ones that will attract investment, access to global markets, and are the business that will endure. Women entrepreneurs are already leading this shift, one with fewer resources often, but with extraordinary ingenuity and resourcefulness. So let me close with 3 simple calls to actions. To financial institutions and investors, we must continue to scale gender-inclusive finance, design practical instruments that meet women entrepreneurs where they are, and grow with them. To government and public agencies, we need to remove structural barriers, open markets, reform procurement with a gender lens, and make policies measurable and accountable for women. And to women entrepreneurs and platforms like Impact Her, keep building this pipeline of bankable, green, trade-ready businesses. The bank will continue to scale the ecosystem around you. If we truly rethink how capital flows, reinvent how markets function, and regenerate our growth model, women entrepreneurs will not just participate in Africa's future, they will design it. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to you, Madam.
Thank you very much. That was an impactful and insightful message from the African Development Bank.
That's right, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. When we started earlier today, we talked about the fact that this is day 3 and this is the last day of this conference. Now, we've had ministers, we've had individuals that have joined us for this conference from day 1 down till day 3. And if you're also joining us today, you are welcome. But I would love to respectfully recognize a lady that joined us from Angola. Would get her name when it's time, but she joined us all the way from Angola, and it's against all odds she decided to be here. I would call your name when it is time, but ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for her. Put your hands together for her. Thank you. At this point, we would now respectfully recognize our dignitaries in the house, the ministers in the house, the diplomats in the house. And I would start by recognizing the Minister of Gender and Culture, Republic of Uganda, no other person but Her Excellency, Honorable Peace Regis Mutunzu. She's been with us Thank you. We appreciate your presence. Thank you for the love and the support. We love you. From Nigeria, we love you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
And up next is the Minister of Gender, Children and Welfare, Republic of the Gambia, Her Excellency Honorable Fatou Kinte, who's
That's
also
right.
been with us right from the very first day of this program. And one thing that I love about our ministers, they're so lively, bringing their culture
Yes.
and just, shining that light with us.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we also have the Minister of Gender and Children Affairs, Republic of Sierra Leone. No other person but Her Excellency Honorable Isata Mahoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development from the Republic of Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Honorable Senator Monica Mutwanga.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we also have the Deputy Mayor of Madison, Wisconsin, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Katunta, please, a resounding round of applause. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we saw him grace this stage yesterday. We have the Honorary Consul of Jamaica in Philadelphia, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's celebrate the he for she man, Honorable Christopher Chaplin. Thank you. Now, we know there are other persons would have to recognize, and as we flow with this conference, would recognize them right here. We appreciate your presence. We thank you for coming. We love you. Let's celebrate ourselves. Let's celebrate ourselves. And to you that have joined us from the beginning down till this time, thank you so much.
Now, I'd like us to pay attention to the multimedia screen. As you know, Impact Her organization has trained women in the art of Adire, which is one of Nigeria's treasure.
Yeah.
I mean, I visited Abuja for the very first time, and I've seen it. I love, because everywhere you turn to, you see the Adire. It's either a gown, it's a bag, it's a hat. I love how Abuja continuously explore what to do with this. Please, a round of applause. And that's one thing that Impactor has done. So right about now, we're going to take you to this special feature where you learn and see why it is important that we preserve culture to create wealth.
Please focus your attention on the multimedia screen.
Before the conflicts, before the long walk with children on their backs and nothing to eat, they were tailors, traders, mothers who dressed their daughters in color. Then the world called them refugees, displaced, dependent. But you cannot displace what still lives inside a woman. Impactor knew this, so Impactor brought the indigo.
This training has been brought to us really, really good, and we like it. We are going to hold ourselves, hold our head, and do it continuously so that we'll make money out of it. Impactor has come to teach us how to make wrappers, like from white plain material to come into colored patterns and design. This is the first time I've been seeing how to do something like this.
In Karaji Majigi displacement camp, 50 women sat down and tied their first knots. In Kabusa, 50 more dipped fabric into the dye. In Wassa, 50 again unfolded their first adire, and some of them wept. Not from sorrow, from recognition, they remembered who they were. Sustainability is not a boardroom word. It is a woman dyeing clothes with the earth beneath her feet and teaching the woman beside her to do the same. This is the oldest sustainability model on earth. Women passing power to women. Displacement took their homes. It did not take their genius. The world called them victims. They were building businesses. The world said, start over. They said, we never stopped.
They bring us some white yard. We use it with hot water and some colors. This is the cloth here. We make it.
Displacement does not define a woman. A woman with a skill is a woman with a future. And a woman with a future changes everything.
Now I have learned a lot of things. They have brought wrappers, plain white wrappers, and taught us how to color it to come out the way it's being sold in the market. This skill is very, very okay. This is something that I know I will continue doing to make beautiful wrappers. Thank you, Impact Her, for these skills you've brought to us.
Over 150 women trained, 3 displacement camps transformed, ancient crafts, modern income, sustainable future. Impactor is investing in her story, and she is rewriting the world.
This is also an encouragement that you continue to use your skill, because the importance of skills cannot be underrated, especially if we want to leverage Africa and Nigeria as a whole as an eco-friendly space. Moving on is a panel session. We'll be interacting with panelists who are going to now share knowledge on how women in the creative industry can make money. And taking this particular panel, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome broadcast journalist from News Central TV, Bettina Nweli. Please put your hands together and make welcome Bettina.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies. No, this hall is too cold. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I see we have a beauty queen in the house, but we are all queens here if we are here to attend this panel session that I am going to be moderating. My name is Bettina Nweli, and I work for News Central Television, the best TV station in the world. But first of all, let me introduce our panelists because we don't have too much time. First of all, on our list, we are honored to welcome Chioma Ude. She's widely known as the First Lady of African Media, a visionary business leader, media executive, and cultural innovator who has played a defining role in shaping Africa's global film and storytelling landscape. She is the co-founder of La Vida Studios and the founder and executive director of Africa International Film Festival, AFRIF, one of the continent's largest and most influential film festivals in Africa. Please welcome Chioma Ude. Next on the list, we have Lioness Talaine. She's the festival director of the Black Creators International Film Festival, BCIFF USA. She is a filmmaker, creative entrepreneur, and nonprofit founder dedicated to expanding access and opportunity within the global creative economy. After nearly 5 years in government service, she transitioned into full-time creative entrepreneurship, building initiatives that support youth and women in film, media, and storytelling. Next on the list, we have Erica Hill. She's a professor of lighting techniques, applications from California Baptist University, USA. Erica Hill, thank you very much. A resounding round of applause, please. And then next, we have another important personality. We have Rosemary Egabo Afolahon.
Now we have to give her a resounding round of applause because she is my boss. So please keep it coming until she comes on the stage. She's a woman of great fortitude, very interesting personality, and she is also the Director of Commercial and Communications at News Central Television, a leading Nigerian media organization known for its impactful storytelling and commitment to balanced, insightful reporting. A round of applause for our panelists, please. So the last time I was here, thank you very much. Thank you. The last time I was here, I noticed that some of my panelists were straining their faces to see me, so I'm just going to stand while I moderate this session. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'm sure that we're going to have an amazing session. This morning, we are talking about how women in creative industry can make money and promote culture while staying sustainable. Now, this session showcases how women in fashion, crafts, media, and the arts are building thriving businesses that celebrate cultural heritage and embrace sustainability. So first on the list, I will start with Choma Ude. How can filmmakers and storytellers turn culturally rooted African stories into profitable businesses that preserve culture and remain economically sustainable?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to be here. So back to the question. Culture, the way we see culture in Nigeria or Africa, I would say, is very different from the way the rest of the world see culture. We see culture as something that should be kept in a museum where we go to look and see what it looks like. We protect it behind glass walls. But culture should actually be monetized. It should be used. It should be materialized. And I'll give you an example. When Ryan Coogler made the movie Black Panther, it was an Afro-futuristic movie, and he monetized it so much. He talked about our culture. If you've watched the movie, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So what we need to do is go back to our stories, pull those stories out, those cultural stories that belong to us that the rest of the world need to see, and treat it like an IP to be profited off of. So you make your films, you make your children books, you make merchandises. Instead of keeping it behind glass walls in the museum, you actually bring them to life and make it materialize for you, make it profitable for you. And the only way to do that is to bring them to life, where the rest of the world wants to see it, because people really want to see our culture. And going to museums is not just about our culture. We have to bring them to life through films, through music, through fashion. Thank you.
A round of applause, please. All right, before we go ahead with the panel, we just have one more panelist who will be joining us. Please, a round of applause for Bilikisu Garba. She's the founder, MD, the Upcycle Architect in Nigeria. And she's a Nigeria-based enterprise driving innovation in sustainability and circular economy solutions. We're pleased to have you, Ma. Good morning and welcome. All right, the next question I will be asking will be going to, I was about to do something, but I'll leave it at that. All right, the next person we'll be talking to will be Rosemary Eggabo. How can women creatives use media platforms to build visibility, attract audiences, and convert that visibility into income?
Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, Efe, and your team for the great work you're doing and the lives you continue to impact every day. I work for a platform called News Central TV. We're a 24-hour news broadcasting channel, broadcasting to about 42 countries in sub-Saharan Africa through DSTV, GoTV, and of course, you can watch us live on YouTube. And one thing we say is that we are Africa first. We see ourselves as the storytellers of Africa. And among the stories we tell are the stories of what great women in the formal and informal sector are doing to contribute to the GDP of their various countries. So yeah, so please watch us on channel 422 on DSTV and GoTV 23. Thank you for allowing me to market a little bit.
Please watch us.
So, I mean, I was listening to Dr. Malize yesterday, and you would realize that a lot of women are doing fantastic things. A lot of Nigerian and African women are doing great things, but they are what you call a beautiful girl in the dark. You are doing great things, but nobody's seeing it. You are not visible. You are not putting yourself out there. So I think the first thing I would like to say is be visible. You need to show your work. Go out on social media. Put out what you are doing. If you're a fashion designer, we need to see what you're doing on social media. Because, I mean, we're in a digital age and everything has gone digitalized, you know. If you're looking for investors, if you're looking for media partnership, and you are not on the social media space, then how are people going to know everything you're doing? So the first things first, you need to be visible. Now, after you are visible, you've created that visibility, you need to know what? You need to understand your audience. You need to build a community. And it's not about going viral. You know, people get this misconception that, I must go viral, I must go viral. I must make you understand that if you have 10 followers, build that community, understand the problem of your 10 followers, and see how you can provide a solution to your 10 followers. Now you've built visibility, you have gotten the audience, you need to know what? You need to build trust. And in building that trust means you got to show consistency. So it's not a thing of posting today, then it takes you 1 month before you post again. You need to be consistent in pushing out your content. And please, 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 I know that we're talking to women here. I don't want you to have that idea that for you to be able to publicize your product, it needs to be sexual, because that's a thing on social media. If you're not showing off chest, if you're not showing off waist, you feel like that's not marketing your product. You can market your product with your brains and you can be strategic about it. Okay, so visibility, you must be there, thank you. You must be visible, you must build your community, and you must build trust. If you're a fashionista, you want to show people the behind the scenes of how you are, you know, making your clothing. That helps people relate with you, and that helps people to connect with your brand. Don't forget, you're not marketing a product, you are marketing yourself and your product, not just a product. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So I think in summary, what she's saying is that you are a brand. You're not just an individual. Your product becomes you, and you become your product, so you have to treat it as such. Erica, how can women in the creative industries use technical skills such as lighting, production design, and efficient equipment to improve quality, reduce costs, and increase profitability?
Wow, that's such a great question, and thank you for that.
First
of all, thank you guys for having me. This is a beautiful packed house with beautiful people who look just like me, so I'm excited to be here. Coming from the US, coming from America, as a lighting designer with over 17 years of experience, I've been touring with artists. I tour with artists doing lights for their concerts, people like the Isley Brothers, Fantasia. I've toured with Amare, done some work with Stonebwoy. I've worked with almost anybody with a budget. The thing is I'm a unicorn. There are not many black women anywhere in the world that does this. So in order to get more of us to be behind the lighting console or be behind the sound booth or do any of these technical skills, we have to know that they exist. There's a lot of us who think that you just have to be on stage, you have to be the star, you have to be the actress or in charge of everything, but there's so much money behind the scenes. There's so much money to be made focusing these lights. I looked at the tech booth back there. I was just a little disappointed that there's not one woman working that tech booth back there at the Women Impact Global Conference. I hope we can change that next year. But in order to make those changes, we have to learn how to do it. So in order to do that, I would like to help and create programs here and all over that can help bring women into this industry and whatever we need to do. But at the end of the day, it can't just be all men. You know, at the end of the day, there's so much money for us to get, and we can do it.
We absolutely can. Thank you very much for that insightful contribution. Lioness, how can African and diaspora women creators use international festivals and global platforms to monetize their work while retaining ownership?
Yes, so that's a great question. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me as well. So to answer that question, the first thing is to realize that these platforms are not just platforms. They're not just festivals for screenings. These are business ecosystems because they bring access to us via press, coverage, resources that we did not have, financing, buyers, investors, anything that we can get our hands on that we may not have had through the platform. We can definitely kind of, I guess we can bring income through these resources. So once we realize that these platforms are not just platforms and we can bring each other together, distribution is accessed through these platforms. And that's kind of why I was inspired to start Her 7 Colors and Black Creators International Film Festival, because as an independent creator, I did not have access to a lot of these resources. I won Best Film last year in Toronto, Canada, but I did it alone. I didn't have anybody to invest in my first film. I put up all of the money, and if I had just a mere fraction of some of this access that I now am affording others, I could do so much more. And so that's what inspired me to start my own platform and to get it globally seen and to get it globally recognized and also globally accessed for women like myself. I also started a nonprofit organization called Her 7 Colors that cater to underrepresented women of color and creators to also give us access to offer apprenticeships, paid jobs, and to create commerce throughout the economy and our communities.
All right, thank you very much. I think at this point, the phrase, do it afraid, will come into play because whatever you have to do, just start. Once you start, every other thing will fall into place and align for your purpose. All right, I'm going to talk. Hello, 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 hello. Apologies for that break in transmission, but we'll go on like nothing happened. We'll just pretend. All right, Bilikisu, how can women move from creating sustainable products as a side hustle to building a recognizable and a scalable brand?
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. It's beautiful to see that on day 3, the hall is still packed and dominated by amazing women doing amazing things globally. So I run a social enterprise, and keyword here is, or key phrase here is social enterprise, which means we're not only generating revenue, but we're also giving back. There's impact in what we do. I run a social enterprise called the Upcycle Architect, and what we do is we transform waste items, quote unquote, discarded items, items that people classify as waste or useless, and then we transform them into fantastic products, mainly for interior spaces, so your homes, offices, and all that. And I started this, and I'm sure many people that know what upcycling is, or many people here that do DIY projects and all that, started this as a hobby. You just pick, I think we all do it by default. That empty mayonnaise jar, you don't want to throw it away, you wash it, remove the sticker on it, you put your salt inside, you put your seasoning inside. That's indirect upcycling. In fact, that's direct upcycling. But this time around, you have a skill, and then some people even go to that point where they go for functions, and then there are these discarded plastic spoons. They break them, paint them, and then they turn them into these nice clocks. Or I'm sure many of us have seen these things. Or you see tires, people turning them into tables, people turning them into chairs. I've seen people turn tires into chandeliers, and multiple things that we have done. So from that thing that looks like a fun skill, you can actually generate a lot of revenue. And I've been in this business for close to 10 years. And it started as a simple hobby. The first time was when I publicly showed people what I was doing was in 2016. And there was an interior design exhibition in Abuja. And I was supposed to talk about how to redefine the Nigerian interior design industry. And I didn't know what to do. Like, how do you come and tell people without showing people? And so I made the very first product. It was a bottle table. My sister liked eating granuts. So those bottles that you have, those discarded glass bottles, I turned them into the base of a coffee table. And then we had this old kitchen cabinet, just revamped it and then turned it into a coffee table. And then I showed people, I made 2 designs. And that was the beginning of a life-changing experience for me. People started saying, oh, this is nice, this is really nice. How did you do this? Come and teach. Show us, we want to buy. And the rest is history. So that hobby that you think is just a hobby, you can convert it with the right skills and then change that mindset that, oh, it's just a hobby. Change the mindset to make you understand that I want this to generate revenue for me. And I promise you, if you're able to do that, you would be so shocked at how much, not only Nigerians, you would be surprised at how people in other parts of the world will appreciate those simple things that you do and pay you.
Currently exist for women in film, such as streaming, licensing, brand partnerships, festivals, and digital distribution?
I would say cinema is the door you would use to go into your revenue streams. And the next line of action would be streaming. And I'm going to explain each header. So you have the streaming, you have brand partnerships, you have festivals, and you have non-profit organizations. Now, for the cinemas itself, you can make your movie. It's always great to bring the cinema experts on board from the get-go. People making films right now are, wait, let me go back. People making films that go to cinemas mostly have a lot more money. So if you're not on that spectrum, the content creators are doing very, very well right now, and there's so many platforms for them. There's the TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. All these platforms can be monetized. So when we talk film now, we go beyond films because we understand that not everybody has the 300 million to make a film. You could start with as little as $5,000. And we're seeing that happen. We're seeing people make so many YouTube films, they're called, and also get money from these creations they actually make. Now, there's the Funke Akindele who has shown that if you do what you know how to do best, take it to the movies, you will make your money. So beyond making films, your question should always be, who am I making these films for? Who is my audience, you know? And so if you determine who your audience is, you can be sure that it will be profitable because you're channeling a particular group of people. Now you have women who are full of social impact, and that's also great. When you're making those movies, go to the foundations, talk with them, find out what they want to express or what they want to get the world to know about, and kind of cater your films towards that, and you will get even more funding and less stress than people that go to the cinemas. Now, for the festivals, which is what I do best, I'll give you an example of what we did last year. So last year, we started the film market because of the exit of the streaming platforms. And I said to myself, what next? Everybody was kind of lost of what to do. And I said, if we start a film market, then we could develop something called regional sales. And in doing that, you have to do a lot of research to find out what the income flow of people are in the rest of the world and what they like. So you go to the Caribbeans and you say, okay, they like Nollywood movies or they like movies from South Africa, whatever, and you kind of get the population, the numbers, you have to get data. Data is king. If you say content is king, I say no, it's data. So using that data, we made sure we wrote to so many distributors, sales agents, investors to come to the festival and see our movies. And just from starting a market last year, we had 990 submissions to the market of movies finished and unfinished. And Cannes Film Festival, which is the biggest film festival, it's gone on for 76 years. They wrote to us to say the films selected during AFRIF can come into their official program. So May 12th, we're going with a group of people to Cannes, to a room filled with distributors and sales agents. The program is called Goes to Cannes. And so for the first time, an African country is going to Cannes in that category with films from here. And that exposure is, I mean, you can't get it anywhere. So for everybody, there's something in film. There's an area of distribution. It's not all about the cinema or the streaming platforms or festivals or the TikTok brands. There's just something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lioness, since we're still talking about films and distributions, what practical steps should women take to distribute their work globally without losing ownership rights or creative control?
Yes, my favorite question. Because as an independent film producer, I executive produced my directorial debut by myself, which means I put up all of the money and the funding by myself, which also allowed me to retain ownership with my product, which is basically my film. When you have 100% ownership, you can do more. And those conversations are different when you're talking to distributors or financiers or investors. It's really important that you retain the control because ultimately it's your vision, it's your investment, and it's your baby. And the more you sell, the less rights that you have, the less right that you have to make decisions in the decision process. And so with that being said, we need to learn the difference between licensing and ownership. Licensing is when you basically license the rights to your film for a temporary time or a specific time period. Maybe it's 6 months on Netflix or a year on Peacock or something, but you still retain the ownership. So at the end of that licensing deal, you still have your rights and you can still shop it around. That's also retaining culture and sustainability over time as well, because we are not selling, things off to distributors or studios over time as well. One of the practical things that you can do to protect yourself is to get everything copywritten. So anytime before I take my idea or my concept, my film, my music, whatever it is, my scripts, to an investor, a potential investor, financiers, I've always had it copywritten with the U.S. Copyrights Office. I'm not sure what that looks like in Nigeria, but that's something that you want to do to protect yourself. What we call it is intellectual property, or IP. So anytime I develop something, that's my IP. That is my intellectual property, and I need to protect that at all costs. That is how you retain ownership, and that is also how you retain creative rights.
Thank you very much. Now, this next question cannot be avoided because this is indeed a sustainable conference. So I'm going to be talking to Erica Hill. What sustainable production practices can help creatives reduce energy costs, waste, and environmental impact?
We have to start building the next generation, and we have to start now. Somebody has spoke on this last panel about creating educational opportunities in elementary school and middle school for, teaching people how to do solar and things of that nature, but we have to do the exact same thing for all of these trades. The trade of lighting design, the trade of sound engineering and things of that nature. If students knew in elementary school that they can tour the world and get paid to travel just to flash lights for concerts or to light a film studio or to light one of her movies and things of that nature, if you knew how much money you could make off of that, then we would be training the next generation to take those trades. Now, yes, they can go to college and learn all of these skills, but a lot of times the people we need to get to, they may not go to college. A lot of times the students that we need to get to may drop out of high school and they still need to make money. These trades are available for any and everybody, and I want these kids over here, these young babies, to have the opportunity to do what we're doing. And the only way to do that is if we start in elementary school, we start in middle school, we start at the grade schools, before they even get to uni or universities and things of that nature. That's the only way to build a sustainable culture in this industry.
Thank you very much. So we're going to try going forward to catch them young, if I get what Erica is saying.
Absolutely.
All right. Rosemary, what types of content currently attract both audiences and advertisers, particularly in culture, sustainability, and impact-driven spaces?
Okay, so I'm going to go from general and I'll drill down. I want everyone to say fire.
Fire.
Okay, that wasn't loud enough. Say fire. Okay, a colleague of mine came up with that. Now, the F in fire means fresh. You must always make sure that you are churning out content. Now, I'm talking about social media now. We've gone back to visibility. You must make sure that you're always churning out content that is fresh to your audience. So if you're a fashion designer, you're selling your clothes, find a way to sell your clothes in a very interesting and fresh way, in a way that even if I have to scroll down your page once every 2 weeks, if I see your page again the next day, I'm tempted to actually look at what you're selling. So, and that goes for social media, even the traditional media people like us. We into news broadcasting, we want to make sure that news is always fresh to you. Now, the I in fire means interesting. You see, social media is a place where there are different types of content. Every comedian is on social media cracking jokes. So you can imagine people like us that have to sell goods and services. If you're not selling your product or service in a way that is interesting, people will just scroll past your page and look for the comedians that will make them laugh. You know, Nigeria, Africa, there are so many problems we're facing. So the average African is looking for something to calm their nerves down. Yeah, so if you're going to be selling content on social media, you have to find a way to make it interesting. Now, the R is for relatable, and that applies to whether you're in news broadcasting or you're on your social media space. If you have to sell your product or service, make sure that you're selling it in a way that is relatable. I found out on social media, you see these ladies that cook, that are doing chefs, they are cooking and they are telling you a story. And you just realize that you are hooked. You wouldn't even know when you've listened to their content from the beginning to the end, because they've gotten to realize that real life stories and authentic stories is actually a hook. So they found a way to incorporate it. Now, the E in fire means engaging. If you're visible on the social media space, please, it's not just for you to be there, post, and just look at it. If people are commenting, please, you need to engage. You need to engage with them. Now, I'm going to drill it down. Authentic storytelling will always be a sell. So find a way to incorporate original stories into whatever you're selling. Whether you're selling shoes, whether you're selling bags, it will always work. Now, edutainment always works as well. So you're educating people about what you sell, but you're doing it in an entertainment way. Please, please, again, I'm saying you don't have to be sexual for you to sell your products, okay? And then, of course, if you want to build trust, when you're talking about the behind the scenes, about how you have produced your shoe, you talk about your chain of supply. It helps you to build trust. And when you build trust with your audience, it helps you build loyalists. And when it helps you build loyalists, trust me, you'll be smiling to the bank. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. A round of applause, please. Let's encourage our panelists. I'm going to be talking to Bilikisu. How should women price sustainable and upcycled products so they remain profitable while still appealing to customers?
Great question. So just to, before I start, giving you tips, we're going to adopt what she just said, the concept of fire, it's amazing, into what I'm going to say to you. You've identified it as a hobby. You've decided you want your hobby to become a business. Before I go further, let me just ask a quick question. How many people here are into the concept of upcycling, either for business or for hobby? Upcycling. We need more hands, we need more hands. How many people here are into like sustainable businesses, whether it's in agriculture, renewable energy? We still need more hands up, we still need more hands up. But it's good. So coming to upcycling, if you don't know what that word means, it means creatively transforming waste items or scrap items or old items, and anything that you classify as waste or useless, and then you add some creativity into it, and then you turn it into something very useful. Now, as simple as that idea is, it is extremely lucrative. You've turned your hobby into a business, and now you want to be able to generate good revenue from that. When you've started it, you've registered your business and all of that, you need to also learn. You need to learn. And this learning has to do with technical skills. Sometimes you need to apply for fellowship programs. Sometimes you need to watch tutorials, YouTube videos, just like she said, edutainment. You could go on social media, Instagram, TikTok and all of that. There's so many people doing DIY projects. Then you choose your niche. Even in upcycling, there are multiple aspects. There are people that, like myself, we do construction, interior design products and projects. There are people that upcycle for fashion. I know I saw people, a couple of people from the first day wearing very interesting fashion pieces. Like, I don't know if anybody has seen this patchwork fashion, where you see people would get scrap pieces and then they make amazing blazers or gowns. So many things you can do. There are people that they make specifically furniture. So pick your niche. When you pick your niche, you learn about it. You learn how to refine what you already do. Then when you've understood all of those backgrounds, you check cost of the materials that you're buying. Because sometimes, I promise you, when you get into the business of upcycling, you would need to buy some of these waste items. You get it? So find out how much material costs, find out how much the production process costs, vet your, like she said, intellectual property. Find out how much time it has taken you, you've invested into that particular product or project, and then put your pricing on it. It's more lengthy than this, but there's this thing called from entry level to premium level. If you start small, you find out how to be able to price your products and projects properly, and then before you know it, you would be surprised that you're getting demands from international organizations, foreign bodies, multiple countries abroad, looking for how you can even export these products. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I hope we are learning a lot from this panel because the house seems cold and we are about rounding up. But before we round up, let's hear one more time from Chioma Ude. What practical steps should emerging women filmmakers take to move from passion projects to commercially viable and fundable productions?
First of all, I would say understand the industry. A lot of people see movies as a gateway to see me, a gateway to know me. I often say now that there's a drug epidemic, but the worst is the see me epidemic. Everybody wants to be seen. So getting into movies is not just being seen and being noticed by the whole world. It's about understanding the craft and beyond the craft, the business end of it. So I would suggest you register for film festivals. Wherever there's a workshop, show up. Where there are panels like this, you hear people talking, show up. You begin to learn. As a producer, don't see yourself, it's not just about the passion, it's also about the commercials. While passion is great, you have to understand the business behind the film. So first of all, get to know your craft. Thirdly, I would say your story. Put a pitch deck together. At this point, you know what a pitch deck is. You've gone for enough seminars, enough workshops, you know what a pitch deck is. Make sure your pitch deck is extremely catchy and very good, because your next step is to take it to the investors. People jump that particular segment. They just go into production with the little they have. And when you do that, you always come up with less than what you expected or less than what the audience wants to see. So I would also suggest take your time to go to investors, shop your pitch deck around. Otherwise, you become a content creator, make your content on the go and put it up somewhere. But if you want to make a film and get to be seen well, do it well. So right after the pitch deck, then you would now go to the distributors. People always go to the distributors when the film is done. I would say seek them out now so you get to know what they want, what they want to see. The program we're taking to Cannes right now, they're called unfinished programs, and so unfinished movies, sorry. And so when we go to Cannes and you have a room filled with distributors and they actually like the project, they can say to you, oh, can you change this? Can you tweak this? Can you do that? For this, we'll distribute. And some distributors actually pay you ahead of the game, while some pay right after. But if you get a good contract, then you're fine. So what do the producers, the directors want to see, the sales agents? You must also put that into your whole deck and your whole plan. The third thing is the investors, the distributors don't want to see just one film. So if you have a deck, a slate of maybe even 3 films, it's really good, because if one film is very successful, it can make up for the losses of the other 2. Unlike if you have one film, you don't know whether it's going to be good or bad. Remember, films are for audiences. It's the audience that tells us at the end of the day whether they're good or bad, how they enjoy it, how they receive it. So having slates also works to make sure you don't lose out, you make some money on whatever you're doing. So I would say in these steps, that's how I'd go with making a movie. Thank you.
Fantastic steps given to us by Chioma Ude. And in case you missed this or you joined halfway, our panel session was about how women in the creative industry can make money and promote culture while staying visible. We have come to the end of this panel session, and during the session, we've been able to discuss sustainable content, visibility, starting early and doing it afraid. I want to appreciate our panelists once again. We had Chioma Ude. She is the Executive Director, Africa International Film Festival, AFRIF. We also had Lioness Talane. She is the Festival Director of the Black Creators International Film Festival from the USA. We also had Erica Hill. She's the, yes, please, a round of applause as I thank them. Thank you very much. We also had Erica Hill. She's the Professor of Lighting Techniques and Applications from California Baptist University in the USA. We also had Rosemary Egabo Afolahan. She is the Director, Commercial and Communications at New Central Television. She's one of my bosses. Please clap so I'll be paid plenty money. Thank you very much. And last but not the least, we had Bilikisu Garba. She is the founder and managing director, the Upcycle Architect in Nigeria. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. My name is Bettina Nweli. I work for New Central Television, the best station in Nigeria and the world. Thank you very much for having us.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please once again celebrate our panelists and, of course, the wonderful moderator, Bettina. Thank you.
And also to make the announcement, the 4 pitch finalists that presented yesterday, congratulations to all of you. Please make your way to the green room as well as the lucky winners from the raffle draw. Now remember, we'll be doing another peach competition today, the final peach competition, and there are amazing prizes to be won. So get your raffle tickets ready.
That's right. And the two persons that won the raffle ticket for Wednesday and yesterday, the two ladies, please make your way to the green room. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would now recognize some of the dignitaries that have joined us here today. We have in our midst the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Republic of Zambia, Honorable Mrs. Subeta K. Motelo. Please celebrate her. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your presence.
And we keep the applause going for the Senior Advisor, MSME Development, Office of the Secretary General, AFCFTA Secretariat from Ghana, Abibata Shani Mahana.
That's not how we celebrate our guests here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Director of Cabinet of the Ministry of Family and Children, Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, M. Musa Dayarasuba. Please celebrate. Thank you.
From the Ivorian Ministry of Women, Family and Children is the Director of Women's Economic Empowerment, Marie-France Kwaku.
Distinguished guests, we also have in our midst, she was here with us yesterday, she's also here with us today as well, the former Minister of Women Affairs, Nigeria, no other person but Pauline Talent. Please celebrate her. Thank you. Thank you for making our time to be here with us. Thank you.
And then again, we have the advisor to Minister of Entrepreneurship and Small Medium Enterprises, Republic of Gabon, Kamel E.P. Rako. Please, a round of applause.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention? Your full attention. Do I have your attention? No, that's not how you respond to me. Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention? Okay, now I have your attention. It is one thing to have a vision. It's completely different to bring that vision to life. But most remarkably, one that is not just about you, one that is about nations. We often say that when you empower a woman, you empower nations. The person I'm about to call up on stage is one who has inspired nations globally. Ladies and gentlemen, she's intelligent, she's bold, she's beautiful, she's audacious, she's courageous. I'm sure you're wondering who I'm calling. Please rise as we make welcome the founder and the president of Impact Her. Ladies and gentlemen, celebrate the talented, the phenomenal, the amazing, the ever-delectable, intelligent lady, no other person but Efe Ukala. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning once again, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is a bit impromptu, but we wanted to address something critical for those of us who were here yesterday. Some of us witnessed a young woman who talked about the fact that her land was grabbed. So I am happy to announce, and I don't know if the law firm is in the room, we have been able to secure the services of Belgor, Olufade & Co., and they will be providing her with free pro bono services to ensure that she gets the best legal representation. And they are here in Abuja. So we wanted to make sure that that was made known, that we looked into that. Secondly, I am also super grateful to News Central that has also offered to investigate this matter. They have a TV show called News Central Investigates. So they will be investigating this matter on TV in addition to other matters that might be similar and bring it to the fore so that we can help stop issues like this from happening. Another matter I wanted to address as well was yesterday we heard from the Honorary Council of Jamaica in Philadelphia to the US, who admitted, Honorable Christopher Chaplin, who admitted it was the first time on the African soil. He has also graciously volunteered to be an advisor to impact her to ensure that that African Caribbean fund that he talked about, you said what, 10, was it 10 billion or something? It's created to ensure that there is capital flow between African and Caribbean women and women in the diaspora to be able to get the funding that they need to not only scale their businesses, but to access critical trade corridors. So thank you, Honorable Chaplain. The last but not the least, we were also expecting Her Excellency, Honorable Bernadette Davis, who, due to an emergency, was unable to be with us, the second Vice President of St. Martin. However, she was still very gracious to have her daughter here with us, Neka. Thank you for being here. And she also sent video remarks, which we would play shortly. So thank you. Okay, thank you all so much. I appreciate it, and we can continue the program. Thanks.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please once again celebrate the founder and the president of Impact Her. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the video you're about to watch, we had it earlier, but please focus your attention on the multimedia screen. We have a video from the Vice President, Collectivity of St. Martin's, Her Excellency, Honorable Benedict Davis. We've had this video earlier, but we feel it's important that we play the same video again. Please focus your attention on the multimedia screen. Thank you.
Distinguished ministers, honored leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and to the extraordinary women who are already building the future, good day to you all. And let me begin by saying it's truly an honor to be with you, even across the distance. My sincere gratitude to Impact Her, to the African Union, to the city of Abuja, I love, and every partner for creating a space like this. Because spaces like this do not just gather people, they shift direction. I had every intention of being there with you physically. But leadership does not always allow us the luxury of choosing where we need to be. And I know, especially in a room like this, you understand that. Because women who lead do not lead when it's convenient. We lead when it is necessary. So today, I'm here with you in purpose, in spirit, and in commitment. But more than that, my daughter, Ijoma, is in your midst, since she was supposed to accompany me. Nigeria is not new to me. In the early 80s, I lived here. I worked here. I managed a company here in Enugu, and that was once Anambra State. I was a young woman raising a family then, still finding my way. And Nigeria taught me something that has stayed with me for more than 40 years. It taught me that real growth does not come from titles. It comes from people, from trust, from relationships built over time. Nigeria taught me how to build from the inside out. So when I speak about Africa's future today, I'm not speaking from a distance. I'm speaking from connection. Because for many of us in the Caribbean, Africa is not a place we visit. It's something we carry. We carry it in our resilience, in our rhythm, in the way we rise again and again, no matter the circumstances. And that is why this conversation matters so deeply. Because when we speak about global Africa, we are speaking about responsibility. That's a shared responsibility to build something stronger than what we inherited. That is why women's sustainable innovation matters now, not tomorrow, now. Because the truth is, women have always been innovators. We build for impact, for family, for community, for the next generation, whether or not we are here to see it. And that kind of thinking, my friends, is exactly what sustainability requires. Because sustainability is not just about protecting the planet, it's about protecting people. It's about whether families can live with dignity, whether women can access opportunity, whether our daughters inherit possibility or limitation. And across Africa and across the Caribbean, women are already doing this work. But too often, they are doing it without access, without capital, without a seat at the table. That must change. Not slowly, but intentionally. The Caribbean diaspora is not separate from Africa's story. We are an extension of it. And because of that, we have a role to play, not as observers, but as partners. We must connect. We must invest. We must build together. Because when Africa and the Caribbean work together, we don't just create opportunity, we multiply it. The theme of this conference gives us 3 words, and I leave them with you, not as ideas, but as action. Rethink. Who has been excluded and what changes when she is included? Reinvent. What would we build if we designed it for our daughters? Regenerate. What are we leaving behind that is stronger than what we found? The question is no longer whether women should lead. That question has already been answered. The real question is, how much longer can the world afford to underestimate us? Because Africa is not waiting, the Caribbean is not waiting, and our daughters are certainly not waiting, and neither should we. Let us build, let us connect, let us lead, and let us create a global Africa where women are not invited to the table, but where women design it, build it, and own what comes next. Nigeria, it is good to be with you again, even from a distance. My heart is with you. Thank you, bon après-midi, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move swiftly to a ministerial address. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a resounding round of applause, make welcome the Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Republic of Sierra Leone, Her Excellency Honorable Isata Mahoy. Please celebrate her. That's not how we celebrate our minister. Oh. Please, let's celebrate her. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Celebrate her. Celebrate her. She's done an amazing job. She's done phenomenal work. Celebrate her. Thank you.
Excellencies, fellow ministers, distinguished organizers from Impactor, esteemed partners from the African Union and the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja, development partners here present, women entrepreneurs, leaders across the continent. Good morning again. It is a pleasure, a privilege to stand before you today, representing Sierra Leone at this landmark gathering where we reaffirm the power of the African women as architects for a sustainable future. The theme of this conference, Rethink, Reinvent, Regenerate, is not just a slogan. It is a call to action, a reminder that Africa's future depends on our ability to rethink outdated systems, reinvent opportunities for women, and regenerate our economies with sustainability at the core. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 5 on gender equality and SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth, reminds us that empowering women entrepreneurs is not just optional, it is essential for inclusive prosperity. The African Union's Agenda 2063 envisions an Africa where development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially women and the young people. Likewise, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Beijing Platform for Action continue to provide normative anchors for advancing women's rights globally. These frameworks converge on one truth, and that is women's entrepreneurship is a cornerstone for sustainable trade, innovation, and resilience. In Sierra Leone, we have taken deliberate steps to translate policy into practice. The Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act of 2022 mandates 30% representation of women in leadership and decision-making spaces. This is not symbolic, it is transformative. It ensures that women's voices shape the policies that affect their lives. Beyond legislations, we have launched programs that provide women-owned businesses with access to finance, training, and digital literacy. In rural areas, women farmers are now using mobile platforms to access market information, improving their bargaining power and reducing exploitation. In technology sector, young Sierra Leonean women are coding solutions on local challenges, providing that innovation is not confined to urban centers. We also recognize that culture shapes opportunities. That is why we have engaged traditional leaders and community structures to dismantle harmful norms while promoting women's leadership in trade, agriculture, and innovation. In one community, chiefs now champion women-led cooperatives, turning cultural authority into a tool for empowerment. Our ministry collaborates with universities and vocational centers to ensure that young women acquire skills needed to thrive in the evolving global economy. These measures are not abstract. They are lived realities for Sierra Leonean women who are breaking barriers in agriculture, technology, and creative industries. From policy to practice, the government and cultural tools empowering women in global Africa is a call to action. Policies alone cannot transform societies. They must be accompanied by accessible financing mechanisms that reach women at the grassroots level. Cross-border trade opportunities should be provided. They will integrate women into regional and global value chains. Cultural transformation that celebrates women and as innovators and not just caretakers. And partnership between governments, the private sector, and civil society to scale impact. When policy meets practice, women entrepreneurs cease to be marginalized across the nation, and they become central architects to Africa's sustainable future. We have seen in cases where Africa is becoming disjointed, because for me, I believe that in Africa, we should be able to act as one country, one nation. And this is why having conferences like this, bringing people from different walks of life together, makes sense a lot. Because this is where we gain knowledge, and this is where we transfer knowledge, and this is where we interact, and then also try to replicate in our countries. As we rethink, reinvent, and regenerate, let us commit to building Pan-African networks of women entrepreneurs and transcend borders. Let us harness digital platforms to amplify women's voices and businesses. Let us ensure that sustainability is not only environmental, but also a social and economic reality rooted in equity and justice. Together, we can craft a global Africa where women's entrepreneurship is the engine of resilience, innovation, and prosperity. I want to thank Impacta. I want to thank them because the strides they have made in countries that they have worked in, the difficulties that women used to go through, the challenges that women meet, is seen as exhibited in their work today. We see outside there women innovators, women creatives. Let us support them. Let us join hands to support them. And those that support Impacta, I crave your indulgence. You have to do more and more and more. I leave you with this conviction. The future of Africa is female, and the sustainability of Africa is entrepreneurial. Let us move from policy to practice. Let us move from vision to reality, and from promise to transformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please make it better for the Honorable Minister. Because this organization prioritizes sustainability and putting this conference together, we will now take a look at an SDG video that will be displayed on the multimedia screens. Please, I indulge that you take your attention to the screens. Now, as the Honorable Minister Sata Mahoy highlighted earlier, the key points on SDGs relating to the theme of this year's program, I would now ask that the media team place the SDG video. Thank you very much.
So while we wait for that, can we please get the music interlude?
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start by expressing my profound gratitude to the organizers of this event for inviting me to share our observations. We meet under a compelling theme, and I quote, "Rethink, reinvent, regenerate, women entrepreneurs as architects of Africa's global sustainable future," end quote. This conference is a testament to our collective responsibility and our collective ambition to transform the face of Africa's economy. Women entrepreneurs across our continent and their diaspora indeed are at the heart of this ambition. It is also timely, this conference, because as Africa confronts macro-financial pressures and deep-seated economic disparities that disproportionately affect women-led businesses, it presents an opportunity for us to engage in dialogue, exchange views, and also present innovative solutions to the challenges that we confront. The AFCFTA, being the largest trading bloc in the world, which has now been ratified by 50 countries in Africa, has an ambitious target of integrating and creating a single market in Africa. It is also about placing at the center of this single market small medium enterprises that are led by young people and by women, and ensuring that we meet our imperative of an inclusive economy that is led by young people and entrepreneurs and SMEs that are women-owned. And therefore, our ambition to create a single market must be co-driven not just by large corporations, but also by small medium enterprises. According to the African Development Bank, women account for 58% of Africa's self-employed population and contribute nearly 20% of the continent's GDP. And yet, they confront an estimated $49 billion financing gap. We must collaborate with African Development Bank, with Afrexim Bank, Africa Finance Corporation, and other development finance institutions to ensure that we close this financing gap and enable inclusive economic growth across our continent. Africa also has the highest rate of female entrepreneurship globally, with an estimated 194 million women entrepreneurs, whilst women make up between 60 and 80% of informal cross-border traders. The World Bank, on the other hand, estimates that full implementation of the AFCFTA has the potential to generate up to $450 billion in income gains and lift 30 million people out of moderate and extreme poverty by the year 2035. These are not mere statistics. These are not mere projections. These ambitious goals have the potential to transform lives. Evidence demonstrates that when women are fully integrated into the economy, outcomes improve across the board, including investment and market expansion, and also community resilience. To unlock this potential, the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of Government and Government of the African Union took a decision to broaden the scope of the AFCFTA agreement and include the Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade. This protocol, as you may be aware, fully aligns with Aspiration 6 of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And let me quote the aspiration: an Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women and youth, and caring for children, end quote. Therefore, the Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade is firmly founded on Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, and its aspirations. The adoption of the protocol was a deliberate effort to place innovative ideas and lived realities of SMEs that are led by young people and women at the center of our economic development as a continent. For the first time in the Protocol on Digital Trade and the Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade, we have a legally binding instrument that codifies the removal of barriers that are confronted by women and youth, including constraints related to finance, cross-border trade, digital access, codifying all of these into legally binding obligations. The AFCFTA Secretariat is already working to operationalize these commitments with a focus on addressing the practical challenges that are confronted by women-owned businesses, as well as businesses that are owned by young people. We have created practical entry points for women entrepreneurs to engage directly with the AFCFTA and also to engage directly with the market in Africa. I urge every business leader who is in the room to take advantage of the AFCFTA private sector engagement strategy, our roadmap for ensuring that the voices of SMEs shape our continental market integration. Platforms such as the AFCFTA Private Sector Dialogue, which we launched last year during the G20 Summit, provide an opportunity for your business ambitions to inform the priorities of the AFCFTA. The AFCFTA is also about leveraging digitization to eliminate trade barriers. The Protocol on Digital Trade, which I mentioned earlier, provides a continental framework for advancing inclusive digital transformation, promoting innovation, and reducing trade costs. The protocol is a game changer, we believe, for women entrepreneurs and encourages capacity building initiatives targeting women-led SMEs to ensure that they are not left behind in the digital economy. As I close, I want to encourage all of you to take advantage of the AFCFTA, a market of 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion. Working together, we have introduced tools that will enable SMEs and young entrepreneurs to fully scale their businesses across the African continent. I therefore wish you very good deliberations over the next day or two, and I want to once again assure you that the AFCFTA Secretariat is your partner in the journey of expanding your business across the African continent. I thank you very much.
We've just heard wise words from the Secretary General, African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA Secretariat, Ghana, His Excellency Wamkele Mene. Please, a round of applause. Still on sustainability, I will now invite Vanessa Vovo, Strategy Advisor from Togo, to now take us on the next panel session. A round of applause and make welcome Vanessa Vovo.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Vanessa Vavor, but I think if you've been here for the past 2 days, you know that now, so I'll spare you the introduction. And what I just want to say before I invite the panelists on the floor is that after these 2 days, I feel particularly energized. I'm not tired at all, and I hope this is the same for you. Can we get a little bit of round of applause to show your energy this morning? With the quality of thinking, the honesty of the conversations we've had, the caliber of people we've had on stage and in the room, we can only be thankful. And I'm fully aware this is the last session, and I thank you for being here and staying energized, and I can already tell you, you won't be disappointed with this one. So we've spent the last few days talking about capital, about energy, about trade and ambition, and one thing seems to come up again and again in every panel I've witnessed is that the systems that are supposed to support women entrepreneurs actually exist, but are not always visible to them. They exist in the policy, in the institutional mandates, but they don't always translate into concrete terms for you all, for women entrepreneurs running business from Abuja to Lagos to Lusaka or Abidjan. And that is the gap that we're trying to close with this conversation today. We will have in this panel we will have on this panel a group of 6 people who collectively represent the architecture of trade support for women on this continent: national government, regional bodies, continental frameworks, and UN agency. They are not just institutions, they are part of the system, and we really want you to understand what are the trends, what are their practical insights and tips so to help you navigate and really open doors for you to access those trade corridors. And so without further ado, please allow me to invite the panelists joining me today, and I'll keep it brief, starting with Honorable Mrs. Subeta Motello, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises Development in Zambia. Please, under your applause, welcome her. She will be followed by Architect Benedict Itegbe, the Regional Coordinator at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the ENPC. Please welcome them. Take a seat. We also have the pleasure to have Mrs. Abibata Shani Mahamad, Senior Advisor on MSME Development at the AFCFTA Secretariat in Ghana. Welcome. I also invite to come on stage Mrs. Sarah Akpofure, representing the ECOWAS Commission. Please welcome. Welcome also to Mrs. Judith Ameso, Economic Affairs Officer at UNCTAD, the United Nations Trade and Development Body. Thank you. Welcome. Take a seat. And last but not least, a second gentleman on our panel, Mr. Musa Diarasuba, the Director of Cabinet at the Ministry of Family and Children of Côte d'Ivoire, where he leads policy coordination. Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. And I want to start straight away because I know we're the last session and I really want to use most of this time to ask questions and have very concrete discussion. And with that, I would like to first give the floor to each one of you for a few minutes where you can, in your intervention, also maybe just put your institution on the map for everyone in the room to really understand where you're speaking from. So I'll start with Honorable Subeta. From a national policy perspective, what support system currently exists in Zambia that women-owned SMEs can directly access to help them scale beyond local markets? If you could give us 1 or 2 useful entry points from the perspective of Zambia, which I'm sure could also benefit from also the other women on the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, and good morning, ladies. Zambia is one of the first countries to ever have the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises Development. And the president, the Republican president, thought it was right to do that because he was trying to ensure that all these business ladies that you're seeing here, the really small businesses, the women that are selling cob maize on the corner or the marketeers, have a place to go and vent out their challenges that they're having, because it's very difficult for these people to compete with bigger businesses. And so this ministry was formed 4 years ago. We are getting into our 5th year. And of course, the first thing that we did was to fight for these small businesses by putting up policies that are going to help them to thrive and to develop. First thing we did was to look for infrastructure. Yesterday, I was very delighted to hear from a lady that started from the back of a house into being a bigger exporter today here in Nigeria. And that is what we are trying to do. So we provided infrastructure. We combined it with financing. We also combined it with the export systems. These three combined are actually a pathway to growth for our SMEs in our country. And what have we done with the infrastructure? We have created over 1,000 jobs in only 8 infrastructures, which is an indication that when you do that, you're creating jobs for MSMEs and the smaller businesses in the country through those infrastructure. They are moving from their backyard operating systems into proper infrastructure where they are able to develop and scale. The next thing we did was to bring in the Zambia Development Agency and the Zambia Export Development Agency to ensure that these products, that these MSMEs in these multi-facility zones and the industrial yards are actually getting certification for their products. That also has helped the MSMEs through that policy to see the products onto the shelves of larger chain stores in the country and bigger supermarkets